the Pittsburgh Pirates. And welcome to Pittsburgh. I'm Dick Stockton along with Mitch Williams. And for these teams, they're on the outside looking in the NL Central. And for the Reds, a real disappointment considering they were the defending champs. Sellout of the season is anticipated at PNC Park. Fox Saturday Baseball brings you the Cincinnati Reds against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And welcome to Pittsburgh. I'm Dick Stockton along with Mitch Williams. And for these teams, they're on the outside looking in the NL Central. And for the Reds, a real disappointment considering they were the defending champs last year. For the Pirates, meanwhile, almost euphoric considering they lost 105 games last year. And Mitch, is a former pitcher, which hitters on each team impress you the most?
Well, for me, Dick, it's easily Andrew McCutchen of the Pittsburgh Pirates. I've said many times I would pay money to watch this kid play baseball. You hear the term five-tool player. He truly is a five-tool player. And when I look across the diamond, hands down, Joey Votto. What makes a great hitter, in my mind, being a former pitcher, is if you can get a hitter out going at him one way over and over, he's not a great hitter. If you go Joey Votto one way over and over, he is going to hurt you.
All right, that's a setup for today. It's been a rough go of late for the Buccos, a slide that began on July 26th in Atlanta.
Swung on, ground ball to third, comes to the plate, and Lugo, safe! He called him safe! I cannot believe Jerry Neals called him safe.
Ever since that heartbreaker, the Pirates have been trying to right the ship, as have the Reds, who have not lived up to their high expectations. Reds and Pirates, next on Fox. today's starting lineup for the Reds, brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Brandon Phillips will be at second base. Fred Lewis in left. Joey Votto is at first base, and Jay Bruce batting cleanup in right. Miguel Cairo is at third base. Drew Stubbs in center field. Ramon Hernandez behind the plate. Paul Yanish at shortstop, and Dontrell Willis on the mound for the Reds. And the opening pitch brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buzz. And a wild game in the series opener last night. You see a bit of Heinz Field to the left and a beautiful downtown setting in a confluence of the Three Rivers here in Pittsburgh, and a big baseball revival here. And the first pitch from Charlie Morton to Brandon Phillips is ball one. Phillips hitting .289, 12 homers, 68 runs batted in.
And this is a guy that he's full of energy, never stops talking, and his numbers back up what he has to say.
Phillips volunteering to bat leadoff, and he had 3 hits Thursday against the Washington Nats, 3 hits last night, including a homer as he drove in 4 runs. And he starts the game off with a base hit to center field. So Brandon Phillips continues his hot hitting. And let's take a look at Charlie Morton coming in with a 9-6 record. Our sprint pitcher profile on the starting pitcher, Charlie Morton.
You know, you look at these numbers, Dick, and compared to last year, this guy struggled to a 2-12 record last year. What he's got to do is command the ball early and do not let Joey Votto beat you.
Fred Lewis, the left fielder, batting .245, 3 homers and 18 runs batted in. And the first pitch, ball one.
Okay, Charlie Morton, we look here at his pitcher profile. He's got to believe in his stuff. That's a big thing with him. He's got to get ahead in the count and expand the zone. And as I said a minute ago, don't put yourself in a position to where Joey Votto can beat you.
Actually, you said it 30 seconds ago,
30 seconds
so it wasn't that long ago. It was a minute. 1 ball and no strikes, the count to Lewis with Joey Votto on deck, and the throw over to first base. And getting back is Phillips, who has 7 stolen bases this year. Morton has allowed only 1 run in the last 25 innings. In fact, had 24 1/3 scoreless innings till Ryan Braun, with a game-tying single, ended that string. There's a call strike, 1-1 to Lewis.
And this is a guy, Dick, that over the offseason absolutely recreated who he was. Last year, you're talking about a guy that had a 94, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, got beat all over the ballpark, went home and studied nothing but Roy Halladay tapes. And you can put them side by side, and he's adapted his mechanics, everything he does.
Just diving back as the ball off the glove of Garrett Jones, the first baseman. And if you're going to challenge anyone today in baseball, Roy be the guy to do it.
Well, if you're going to emulate someone, there's no doubt. I mean, you might as well emulate the best. And I consider Roy Halladay the best overall pitcher in the game today. And it's not easy to emulate someone and do it successfully. I think Charlie is just at the beginning of finding out how good he can be.
And a bounding ball. Third baseman Brandon Wood throws out Lewis as Phillips advances to second. And there's one away and a runner in scoring position. Ryan Ludwig, Andrew McCutchen, and Jose Tabata in the outfield. Brandon Wood, Ronnie Cedeno, Neil Walker, and Garrett Jones man the infield. And Michael McHenry, who has been behind the plate for Charlie Morton's terrific August. In fact, his last start was Saturday when Morton pitched outstanding, going 7 1/3 innings.
And this, to me, this is where Charlie Morton's got to be smart. He's got a base open. Joey Votto at the plate. This, for me, would be an unintentional, intentional walk.
First pitch is well inside for ball one. Votto, third in the league in hitting, batting .320, 21 homers and 75 runs batted in. So that's where Joey Votto ranks in the key categories here in the National League. Brandon Phillips with the lead at second, and there's a base hit to right field. Rounding third, Phillips coming in, and the play at the plate is not in time. It was closer than you might have anticipated, but Phillips got a hand in there And the Reds take a 1-0 lead on Votto's base hit and his 76th RBI.
You look here at this throw, and it's a good throw. He just ends up tagging him high on the chest. Phillips does a great job of sliding that hand in under that tag. Tremendous throw. But Phillips, that's where a great slide and an awareness of where you are and what is about to occur. Brandon Phillips is a pretty heady ball player.
No question about that as Jay Bruce comes to the plate. 7th in home runs in the National League with 26. He has driven in 81. So the Reds jump ahead of the Pirates quickly here, 1-0. Reds winning last night 11-8 in a wild game. They had leads of 2-0, 6-2, and 7-4, only to see the Pirates come back, and Joel Hanrahan, in a rare instance for him, in an 8-8 game, fell apart, and the Reds won it with 3 runs. There's a call strike, and the count is 1-1 with 1 out. Dusty Baker, the Reds manager. So here's more information. Reds
3 ties, 3 lead changes. Pirates scored a run in 5 consecutive innings and never led. That's almost impossible.
And on the outside corner, good breaking ball by Morton. And the count is 1-2. These teams played about a month ago, and the Pirates taking the first 2 games at that point were 7 games over 500 and a half a game in front of Milwaukee in the division. And since then, they have gone on the tailspin as Bruce strikes out for out number 2.
And this is exactly what I touched upon in my keys to Charlie Morton. Get ahead and expand the zone. You don't get outs with strikes. You get outs with these kind of pitches, balls that entice the hitter. The hitter's in a defensive mode. Put the ball somewhere where he cannot get the barrel to it. Tremendous pitch right there by Morton.
Here's Miguel Cairo, the third baseman, batting .267. 7 homers and 29 runs batted in. 2 down, Joey Votto on first. The Reds leading 1-0 here. Throw to first base, and the ball getting away, no advance. And it looked like Votto was leaning the wrong way on the throw over there.
And this is the second time that Jones has struggled with a pickoff throw from Morton. He threw it into the runner, and that's tough on a first baseman. Anytime a pickoff throw is thrown into the runner, you're looking at the first baseman hurting his wrist, or he got lucky there and the ball didn't get away too far.
2 down to Cairo. And there goes the runner off the glove, and in at second base with a stolen base is Joey Votto, his 7th stolen base of the year. So the Reds have a man at second, and the count 1-0 to the batter Miguel Cairo.
And for people at home, 99% of all bases are stolen off the pitcher, and you see that Votto had a walking lead. McHenry, even had he fielded that ball cleanly, had no shot at Votto at second base.
1-0 now to Cairo. Two balls and no strikes. Reds have won 6 of their last 9 games, but have lost a game and a half in the standings to the Brewers.
Now he's fallen behind Cairo here, and he's got him in a cripple count, a 2-0 count, and Drew Stubbs, who leads the world in strikeouts, standing on deck.
Let's take a look at the National League Central Division. Now the Brewers have opened up a 7.5 game lead over the Cardinals, and the Reds and Pirates 12.5 and 14.5 respectively, and that's the largest deficit each of these teams have had to face this year. There you see Stubbs on deck. Count is 2-1 to Cairo. Runner at second base and a shot, line drive, nailed by Brandon Wood at third, and that will do it. But the Reds get a run on 2 hits, leave a runner in scoring position. Cincinnati won, and the Pirates coming up. The Pirates brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Jose Tabata, followed by Garrett Jones, Andrew McCutchen hitting third, and Ryan Ludwig at cleanup. Neil Walker in the fifth spot, Brandon Wood hitting sixth, Ronnie Cedeno batting seventh, Michael McHenry hitting eighth, and Charlie Morton, the pitcher, batting ninth. Facing Dontrell Willis, 0-3, 4.08, making his eighth start of the year. And left Sunday's game last week in the third inning with a sore left forearm, but he's ready to go.
And you look at his numbers, he's 0-3 with a 4.08. Those aren't bad, just horrible numbers. But what Dontrell's got to do is he's got to get back to being Dontrell and having fun.
And Tabata coming up, batting .267 with 4 homers and 17 runs batted in. Returned from the disabled list for the last 2 games of the previous series against the Cardinals. Homered on Wednesday. And the pitch is down low, ball 1. And now our sprint pitcher profile on Dontrell Willis.
And we see right there, he's got to command his fastball early, repeat his mechanics, and hold runners. If he can get those things done today, he's got a shot to keep his team in the game, and that's all you can ask for.
Tabata. And now the count, 3 balls and no strikes to Jose Tabata.
And this is what I speak of when I talk about Dontrell's mechanics. It looks like he's completely out of whack with his. He never seems to get to his backside and allow his arm to work. He's continually rushing down the mound. And this guy's got too good an arm. I mean, you're talking about a guy at one time that won 22 games in a season.
Here's Garrett Jones. .249 hitter with 14 homers and 47 runs batted in. He labored in the minors for 11 years before sticking with the Pirates in 2009 and takes a strike.
Now we're gonna look here. What I'm talking about getting to his backside. Watch him gather up. This is kind of an abbreviated slide step, but he gets on top of the ball and throws the ball downhill. Look at his head. Stay behind your head. Wherever you drive your head, that's a tremendous pitch right there to the outside corner. And you move the baseball as a pitcher with your head. You drive your head to the spot you want that ball to go.
Willis moved into the rotation on July the 10th. And the Reds have never really put all of their elements together. Jones way behind that pitch. 80 mile per hour.
Yeah, good breaking ball right there from Dontrell.
Lewis, Stubbs, and Bruce in the outfield for the Reds. Cairo, Yanich, Phillips, and Votto in the infield. Ramon Hernandez behind the plate. Reds winning last night, and the Pirates have dropped 2 in a row now and trail the Reds by 2 games, 7 under 500. So this is a team that is 7-21 since that victory over Cincinnati a month ago, and it's been all downhill since then. 1-0, the count to Jones.
Well, Andrew McCutchen right here is, like I said, one of the most exciting baseball players in our game today. And the good news is here, he's fallen behind. Dontrell Willis has fallen behind him 2-0, but there's a runner in front of him. If you walk this guy, you're basically taking a chance on walking a triple, because I don't know if there's anyone in the league that can run like him.
McCutchen has 17 homers, 72 runs batted in. Throw to first, close.
Wow.
And we've had several close calls and all diving runners back to the bag for both teams.
And he actually got him flinch right there. That was really close on a snap throw from Willis.
And a call, strike 2-1. So Tabata with the leadoff walk, and then Jones striking out. Count is 2-1 to McCutchen. McCutchen making his first All-Star team this year. 24 years old in his 3rd season.
And that's going to be the first of many. And that's what I like to see right there. A full leg kick from a left-hander. That's a weapon. A pickoff move is a weapon, something you can use. Left-handed pitchers that slide step, I don't understand it. You're taking away from your stuff to the hitter and taking away your opportunity to fool somebody and pick them off.
Willis falling behind 3-1 to McCutchen.
And you do not, I mean, this guy right here, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's leading the team in home runs, RBIs, stolen bases. You don't give in and throw him just a fastball in the middle here.
And the count is full now, 3-2. Well, the Pirates 7-21. And in the last 28 games, the fewest wins in the big leagues. They were flying high for a while. But they have had the edge against the Reds this year, winning 7 of the first 10 games. 0-8, though, against the Brewers. And that's the team that they really had their shot at about a month ago. Here's the payoff pitch. The runner goes, and the pitch is fouled out of play.
And the one thing this young team in Pittsburgh will learn, I mean, they lost that 19-inning game on a horrible call at the plate. But that downward spiral started that night. And the thing these young kids will find out in this game, there is no sympathy in this game. There's none. Teams are not going to feel sorry for you.
Well, Clint Hurdle saying one thing he has told his team, no excuses.
No.
He can talk about the music being too loud in the clubhouse. Basically, it's the fact that you didn't execute. Runner goes, and the ground ball to third base, Cairo. And his only play is to first base to get McCutchen for out number 2 as Tabata advances to second. And Ryan Ludwig coming up.
And the one thing you got to remember as an infielder is if you're a Cincinnati Red today, when Andrew McCutchen puts the ball in play, you better get rid of it. Because every time he puts the ball in play, he has a chance to beat the throw.
And now he's got to face Ludwig, who was acquired from the Padres. Second straight year deadline deal for him. Went from the Cardinals to San Diego last year. Hit 11 home runs for San Diego. Still looking for his first for the Pirates, and lines this foul into the crowd. Strike one. Clint Hurdle, in his first year with the Pirates, spent 8 years with the Rockies. Best year, second place finish in 2007. World Series and pennant. Lost to the Red Sox, but pretty impressive getting there, though, sweeping the Phillies and the Diamondbacks that year.
And Clint's one of these guys that you get around him and you can't help but feel positive. And I think that's what he's brought more than anything to this club.
Fly ball to left field. Lewis coming over, making the catch on the warning track, and that retires the side. The Pirates lead 1 after an inning. The Reds in front 1-0. Presented by Gillette is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. By the makers of new Bayer Advanced Aspirin, the official pain reliever of MLB. And by Ford. Drive one. Sellout crowd, the 16th of the year, and the most they've had in this sensational ballpark with the great panorama view. 19 in 2001. And this is the 8th straight Saturday sellout for the Pirates. So fans are making their way back and see a vast improvement from the team that was 57 and 105 last year.
And this is Clint Hurdle's goal. He wants to reconnect this city with this ball club. This was a baseball town. And for years now, when you got 18 straight losing seasons, you got to do something on the field to get these fans to come back in the ballpark. And I think they're doing a good job of adding some exciting players to do that.
No question about it. Drew Stubbs, the leadoff hitter, takes strike two, 0-2. Stubbs hitting .247, 15 homers, 41 runs batted in. And the look at the ballpark, right on the banks of the Allegheny River here. There's a breaking pitch and it just misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Stubbs. He'll be followed by Ramon Hernandez and Paul Yanish here in the second inning.
And at this point right now, you got Stubbs, who is known to strike out. This is where Morton has got to continue to expand the zone and get him to chase. In my mind, this is where the pitch count is really overrated. I don't care if it takes you 15 pitches to get an out. The object is to get the out. He had him 0-2. Now, that tells me you've got 4 opportunities to get him to chase a ball.
164 strikeouts leading the big leagues, and just gets a piece of that one. That's 15 more than Adam Dunn. So the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Drew Stubbs. If he gets on base, though, is a threat, one of the top base stealers in the National League. Reds leading 1-0. Joey Votto with an RBI single in the opening inning.
And people at home are getting the opportunity to see probably the 2 of the top 5 center fielders in the game today defensively. Stubbs, 5-tool player. The only tool missing is hit for average right now because he can do everything else.
Here's the 3-2 pitch and staying alive. So after getting in ahead 0-2, Charlie Morton. Full count to Stubbs, who's making Morton work here, leading off here in the second inning. There you have the center fielders in discussion here. Andrew McCutchen and Drew Stubbs. Tremendous glove men. And Stubbs with another foul ball.
And now Morton has got his Stubbs eye level looking down. This is a great time for him in a 3-2 count to go to that split finger. It's just got to be middle of the plate. If it's middle of the plate down, there's no way Stubbs can lay off it.
This will be the 9th pitch to Drew Stubbs. And a ground ball up the middle. Neil Walker behind the bag. Not in time. And Stubbs is on at first base.
As I said, another one. Stubbs can flat out fly. You're getting a chance to see. I mean, watch him. He puts this ball in play and watch him head down, and he is going. Walker did everything he could do right there, and Stubbs just flat out ran the ball.
So a hit for Stubbs, infield hit, leading off here in the second inning, and here's Ramon Hernandez. 7th hitter in the Reds lineup today. 3rd season with the Reds, 13th year in the big leagues, and diving back and awfully close at first base.
Charlie Morton has very quick feet on the mound, and quick feet can lead to pickoffs. And wow. We have the luxury of replay where the umpires don't, but that looked like he had him to me.
29 stolen bases for Drew Stubbs, tied for 5th in the league. This time he dives back but gets back easily.
And this to me is how you hold runners. You don't slide step. You change your times to the plate. You throw over. You hold the ball longer. Nothing tenses the base runner up more than watching a pitcher hold the ball.
Pitch is down low. 1-0 the count to Hernandez. Hernandez 3 for 7 against Charlie Morton. Morton, the 27-year-old from Reading, Connecticut. As you look at the outfield, left fielder Ryan Ludwig playing deep in left. But straight away all the way around, infield and outfield, against Hernandez. Stubbs with the lead, takes off, and the ball is chopped to Walker, and Walker puts the tag on, the throw to first for the double play.
That's the second time in the last 2 weeks that Neil Walker's made that type of play. Unbelievable heady baseball player right here. Neil Walker makes that tag and then comes up, fires to first base, is not even close at first. I mean, that's just really, really heady baseball. And the only way you make that play is you've already made it in your head before that play comes to you.
And so he was off balance. He had to straighten himself out. Also had trouble getting the ball out of his glove, but got the ball over there in time. So a play, second baseman unassisted to Garrett Jones, and there were 2 out to Paul Janisch. And strike 1 to Janisch, hitting .226 with 19 runs batted in.
And nothing will give a pitcher more confidence than a double play ball.
Slowly hit to Walker, going to his left, and the side is retired. Reds had a leadoff base hit. Leave none, and in the middle of the second, 1-0 Cincinnati. Waiting, grab some buzz. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. To get the best offer of the year, call 1-800-DirecTV. Pirates batting in the second inning against Dontrell Willis, and Neil Walker leading off. And Walker, who started that nifty double play, leads the National League in the double play started just as one of the great second basemen of all time, Hall of Famer and great Pirate hero Bill Mazeroski did. Walker hitting .272, 10 homers, 70 runs batted in. Switch hitter, and he takes high and away, 2 balls and no strikes. Will be followed by Brandon Wood and Ronnie Cedeno.
And this is the thing Dontrell Willis has got to stay away from today. He has got to stay away from falling behind these hitters.
Fastball fouled back. And Walker has been very consistent as of late. He has reached base in each of his last 13 games.
He's a homegrown boy, Pittsburgh native, and he's been the subject of An extension being signed here.
Base hit. Left center field coming over is Stubbs, and the big turn at first, and Walker goes back. And the Pirates have their first hit of the game and their second base runners as the leadoff man's been on the first 2 innings.
And this is what happens when you fall behind big league hitters. They look in a zone, and if that ball's in that zone, more times than not, they're going to hit it hard. That's why as a pitcher, you want to get ahead, put them on the defensive, and make them hit your pitches.
Kind of basic, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
the way it is.
I'm kind of being hypocritical because I never did it. I never got ahead of anyone.
Never say never.
Well, never, because I'll never get the opportunity to do it again.
It's true.
I kind of pitch backwards, but Dontrell has got to work ahead.
Brandon Wood, ball 1 to him. Wood with 3 runs batted in last night, getting a pair of hits. Comes into the game hitting .223, 7 homers and 29 runs batted in.
Beautiful picture of the boat heading up one of them rivers out there.
That's the Duchess on the Allegheny River. Fly ball to center field. Stubbs is there, and there's one away. And here are today's Ford keys to the game.
For the Reds, 6 innings out of Dontrell. I'm sure that'd make Dusty happy and set the table for Votto, as we've already seen. For the Pirates, Morton go deep into the game, and Tabata keep making adjustments at this level. He's going to be an outstanding player. He's just got to continue to make those adjustments.
Ronnie Cedeno, the Pirates shortstop, hitting 7th in the order. At a .255 clip with 2 homers, 28 runs batted in. Call strike. 0-1 to Cedeno. Neil Walker with a leadoff single on at first base here in the Pirates' second. Reds lead it 1-0. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Dusty Baker talking about the disappointing year for the Reds. Said nothing ever gelled together. We never had the pitching, the starting pitching, the bullpen together, the hitting. We were out of sync and have been out of sync all year long.
That, and they've dealt with their fair share of injuries too. They've had 14 guys go on the disabled list 16 different times this year. So,
Scott Rowland, they miss him
absolutely,
among others.
They've had some key injuries, but that you can't use that as an excuse, because every team has injuries. It's the teams that are able to overcome them are the ones that move on.
There goes Walker back to the mound. The throw to second and the double play. So Dontrell Willis with the stab starts the double play. Each team has executed 1-0 in favor of the Reds as we go to the third. Baseball presented by Gillette Fusion Pro Glide.
We're going to look at this double play at the end of that last inning here in a bit, and I'll tell you what, this is what makes Brandon Phillips Brandon Phillips. There are very few people that are going to hang in there knowing that guy's bearing down on him, makes a throw from one knee, throws a strike to first. Tremendous play. That's why he's one of the top second basemen in all of baseball.
Well, Mitch, he's wearing a microphone for us, so we're going to hear some reaction from him. Here it is from another angle.
I mean, as a second baseman, you know that guy's job coming from first is to blow you up at second. And Phillips never gave an inch.
Phillips is on deck. Dontrell Willis. No easy mark at the plate, hitting .400, 6 for 15 with a homer and 2 runs batted in. 2-1 pitch to him. And a 3-1 now to Willis, who has struck out only once this year. So Willis followed by the top of the order, Brandon Phillips, who scored the Reds' run in the first inning. We're in the top of the third here in Pittsburgh. 1-0 Cincinnati.
And if that ball didn't have the sink on it right there, because in this situation, a cripple count to Dontrell Willis is just like a cripple count to a regular hitter. He is a tremendous hitter. You can't just throw him a four-seamer down the middle.
Well, he struck out for only the second time. And here's Brandon Phillips. Sounds of the game. Let's listen to Brandon.
You tall, man. That's what happened to tall people. They get their body ache real quick. Woo! That felt great. In the face. You know, back in the day, man, your daddy used to say, man, if you ain't get dirty, that means you ain't do nothing. So I look like I did something today. I got you, baby. Throwing me sinkers and sliders a second. Sinker, slider, just throw that, baby.
And he certainly has done something already, Mitch.
I'll tell you what, it's a shame he can't have any fun playing this game. I love to see guys like Brandon that understand that you're getting paid a lot of money to do something you did for free to have fun when you were a kid. He still has fun. That's what the game's about.
Single to start the Reds' first inning and came around on Joey Votto's RBI base hit. 1 out, 0-1 to Phillips, and a single to left field. Ryan Ludwig retrieves, so Brandon Phillips 2 for 2. And a superb play at second base.
You want to see a set of hands and what hitting's all about using your hands. Look at him throw his hands, stay right through that ball. Tremendous job of hitting. Right here, a good shot of him throwing those hands. You don't have to do a whole lot at the plate. If you can use your hands, you can hit.
There's the pregame tweet by Brandon Phillips. Guess who's wearing the mic? Well. On today's game on Fox, so pleased to be doing that. A bunt attempt by Fred Lewis. Missing off to the left and strike one. Lewis, first time up, grounded to third. So Brandon Phillips going back to first base. 1 out here in the Reds' third. Lewis in his first year with the Reds after 1 year with the Blue Jays and 4 years before that with the Giants.
And that bunt attempt has got Brandon Wood pulled up at third base. He's off the line quite a bit. He's got a huge hole between first and second to pull the ball through.
Charlie Morton, who has been brilliant against the Reds this year with a 3-0 record. 0-1 to Lewis. And he takes a call strike, so he's ahead of the Reds left fielder. No balls and 2 strikes.
Now this is where you go to work throwing that sinker. Get him to chase that sinker on the outer third of the plate and roll over on it. Don't give in an inch right here.
1-2 now to Lewis. Well, the riverboats are going both ways, Mitch.
Yep. This is my first opportunity to be at this new stadium here in Pittsburgh, Dick, and it is absolutely gorgeous.
Took something off that breaking ball, and it's fouled off to the right. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. The great view of the city of Pittsburgh downtown, city of bridges, where the Monongahela, Ohio, and the Allegheny meet in what has been known as the Golden Triangle. Of course, Three Rivers Stadium was the ballpark in this area that used to be here. Here's the 1-2 check swing.
I'm a little confused by what Morton is trying to do right here. I mean, he's got the huge hole on the right side. He's a tremendous sinker ball pitcher, and they're trying to come in on Lewis. Well, that is going completely against the way you're trying to defend him right here. You're defending him to hit the ball up the middle, and you're coming in.
And how often do we see that?
Yeah, for me, I always turned around. I knew what I was going to throw, and I would move my second baseman. Depending on the hitter, I would put him where I'm trying to get the hitter to hit the ball, and if he turned around and looked, they're not playing him to pull. They're playing him up the middle.
Breaking ball, cue down to third. Wood going over to Walker. The throw to first, not in time. But they get the lead runner, and there are two down with Joey Votto coming up. Charlie Morton, who has a 3-0 record and a 0.39 earned run average against the Reds. 2 complete games on the year, both against Cincinnati. And including that as a shutout. So he's had their number, and don't know why he's been so outstanding this year, Mitch, because in the previous 2 years, 1-4 with an ERA of over 6 against the Red hitters.
I'm telling you, it has everything to do with the fact that he went home in the winter and basically made himself a Roy Halladay clone. Now the only thing he has to add on top of that is the experience that Halladay has.
Joey Votto fouls it down the right field stands, and it's no balls and a strike to Votto, who drove in the only run of the game with a single in the first inning. Now 76 runs batted in for Votto, now hitting .322. Also stole a base in that opening frame. Here's the home run by Joey Votto last night, a 2-run homer off of Kevin Correa, giving the Reds the 2-0 lead.
And I'm sorry, I said in the open, don't let him beat you. If I'm him, I am staying away, staying away. Joey Votto is an inside-out hitter. You see him take that ball on the inner third of the plate and drive it out of left center field. Well, the way you attack those hitters is stay away from them.
Last pitch was a breaking ball in on the fists by Charlie Morton, who's ahead of Votto. No, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Now backdoor your breaking ball.
There goes the runner. Pitch taken for a ball. The throw to second. They got him. Good throw by McHenry. And they get Fred Lewis for the 3rd out of the inning. Reds 1-0 after 2.5. Back here in Pittsburgh, Dontrell Willis pitching to Michael McKendry, the Pirate catcher, and he takes low, ball 1. McKendry batting .247 with 2 homers and 9 runs batted in, and a tremendous throw to second to get Lewis caught stealing to end the inning, and a fly ball to left field. Lewis coming over to his left makes the catch, and there's 1 gone in the Pirate third. Reds leading 1-0. Well, Dontrell Willis, up and down career. 68 wins in 5 years with the Marlins, an all-star, rookie of the year, and then Detroit, a different story.
Completely different story. I mean, this guy, it's all been mechanics-based for me. He was a herky-jerky guy, and you look at the numbers. Since 2007, he's won 3 games in 34 starts.
How do you figure?
Yeah, I mean, that's hard to imagine that a guy goes from going 22-10 one year to winning 3 games since 2007.
As solid a hitter as Dontrell Willis is, Charlie Morton the other way, now 2 for 41. Well, these are some of the people who are not making up the 16th sellout of the year here in Pittsburgh, enjoying their afternoon. And watch the is it ducks
or geese?
Geese,
gooses. What is plural for geese? Gooses.
And it looks like the geese were offered some treats and decided to turn away.
They're hanging out. And I'm sure over the last 18 years, those people would have been counted as part of the attendance here in the park. But now, baseball is a little more rejuvenated here in Pittsburgh, which is great to see. Dontrell's worked ahead 0-2, and this is what he's got to do. It's simple. It's easy to talk about it. It's easy to say. Believe me when I tell you, it ain't that easy to do, but you have to work ahead if you're going to be successful.
Jose Tabata and fouls it off to the left. Still no balls and 2 strikes. Tabata's hero, of course, Roberto Clemente, and first opportunity to play right field, which was the field that the great Roberto Clemente, number 21, manned for the Pirates. Hall of Famer.
Manned well.
Yeah, a brilliant throwing arm, and went to first and third, had the ability to go to the opposite field. Ended up with 3,000 hits before he was killed in a plane crash on New Year's Eve 1972. Trying to help earthquake victims in Nicaragua, and he did a lot of things on the side that were not publicized. And Bob Prince, the gunner, the great all-time broadcaster for the Pirates, always said the great Roberto Clemente.
Well, and that's a word that is not out of bounds at all when you're speaking of Roberto Clemente.
Full count to the Pirates right fielder. Here's the payoff pitch, ball 4, and a 2-out walk. Now time for a DirecTV game break. The Brewers going against the Mets. Brewers with a big lead now in the Central. And in the top of the first inning, Ryan Braun with a 2-run homer off of Chris Capuano. Way out of Citi Field, Jerry Hairston scoring in front of him. Brewers took a 2-0 lead. It is now 2-1 playing the third inning. The Brewers and the Mets.
And this is what these two teams, Dick, have to stop not do, is watch that scoreboard. They can't look and say, oh, Milwaukee's winning again. They have to play each out, 1 out at a time. If they're going to get back in this race, they can't worry about what Milwaukee's doing.
Well, the Reds want to get to 500. You have to get to 500 before you think of anything else. And earlier in the year, Clint Hurdle said 500 is not our goal. But right now, you'd have to say getting even would be a standard for the team. I want to remind you, by the way, to get every MLB game and the most in HD, call 1-800-DIRECTV.
You know, I've never claimed to be the smartest man in the world, but when Clint told me last week that 500 was mediocre and we don't aspire to be mediocre, and he said mediocre is Latin for Middle and Oker is a stone hill, that means you're halfway up a stone hill.
Well, he doesn't want to sell the team on 500, but that'd be a big step forward for this franchise without question.
No doubt about it. I mean, you have to start somewhere.
Garrett Jones is the batter, struck out his first time up. 2-out walk to Tabata, who has walked twice in the game. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Reds leading 1-0, have out hit the Pirates 4-1. Foul at the plate. Staying alive is Garrett Jones.
First time up, Willis struck him out with a breaking ball, a good breaking ball. And again, he's ahead in the count here. This is where you can expand that zone and see just how far off that outside corner Jones will chase. And they're going to go with a slider here.
Grounded to Phillips. And Brandon Phillips throws out Garrett Jones. No hits, 1 left. Joey Votto, who has an RBI single. One of the top hitters in baseball, will be leading off for the Reds in the 4th when we come back to Pittsburgh. $15 could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Sprint, all together now. And by Warner Brothers Pictures, Contagion, in theaters September 9th.
And you see right there, Morton started him away.
Joey Votto. Single and an RBI and a stolen base in the first inning. And that's been the only damage so far. 2 balls and no strikes as Morton falling behind Votto. Jay Bruce is on deck.
And the one thing you can notice at home, as a pitcher, every hitter will tell you their weakness just by the way they stand. You see Votto is on the plate. That tells you he does not handle the ball away. He is not the least bit concerned with the ball in.
He walks on 4 pitches to start the 4th inning for the Reds. And that is the first base on balls issued by Charlie Morton. And that'll bring Jay Bruce to the plate, who struck out his first time.
And you know, I saw a quote in the paper about Votto being frustrated with not hitting as many home runs this year. And Prince Fielder talked to him, and he said, he has nothing to worry about. He's a great hitter. That home runs, you don't hit home runs are thrown to you. And I thought that, and Votto said since then he's completely let it go and not worried about it. And I thought that was a very poignant quote from Prince Fielder.
Very good. And Morton, by the way, has been extremely economical with the home run ball. Has allowed only 5 all season. Bruce has 26 on the year, and time is called. And with 34 homers allowed per 9 innings, he leads the National League and is second to the Indians' Justin Masterson in the major leagues. Lead at first by Votto. Pitching away from him and swung on and missed, strike one.
And that's that split finger that the bottom just falls right out of. He struck Bruce out his first time up with a breaking ball. That exact same breaking ball.
And is ahead of Bruce, no balls and 2 strikes. That wasn't even close for Bruce against Morton, who has struck out 2.
Now, in my mind, if I'm the hitter, I got to be thinking he's going back to that breaking ball.
And he does. And the pitch is low and inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, does he go away?
Yeah, for me, I always talk to hitters because I wanted to know what was going through their mind. I never spoke much with pitchers. But you got to put yourself in the hitter's shoes. If I'm Bruce, I'm thinking he's going to keep going to that breaking ball. So if I'm Morton, I'm going to go to a fastball on the outer third of the plate and just hump up and throw one hard.
Fouls out of play, and that was more toward the middle of the plate than he would have wanted. Jay Bruce, by the way, joining some exclusive company with his power output in the first 4 years in Cincinnati. 90 home runs. Johnny Bench at 87. And Jay Bruce with 94, and Frank Robinson 134 in his first 4 seasons with the Reds. And of course, Frank Robinson then traded to the Baltimore Orioles, and in his first year wins the Triple Crown and leads the Orioles to a 4-game sweep championship over the Dodgers.
Well, Frank was a pretty good ball player, I think. He wasn't bad.
And he's got him. Picked off at first base is Votto. Boy, it's been close. And we were very close to getting a pickoff, and we do here, and Votto is thrown out.
And see, that's the thing right there. That was what we were talking about. That's how Votto stole his first base. He had that walking lead. Charlie never got him to stop his feet. And right there, just by holding that ball just a second longer, he got Votto to take that walking lead and ended up picking him off.
And picking him off, and then he plunked him. Jay Bruce hit by a pitch, and he'll trot down to first base. So with 1 out, Bruce becomes the base runner.
Your job as a pitcher is to stop that runner's feet. You can see that Votto's feet are still moving. Tremendous job by Charlie Morton right there. Catches him leaning. And that's a result of being smart with the baseball in your hand on the mound.
And Joey Votto was not the first Reds base runner to be leaning the wrong way against Morton in this game. So Miguel Cairo, the batter, lined right to Brandon Wood, the third baseman, his first time up. Wood playing close to the line. The first pitch is ball 1. So against the right-handed batter, playing him to pull, as you see Brandon Wood straight away all the way around, and Garrett Jones is holding Jay Bruce on at first base.
And these Reds base runners got to be cognizant of the fact that Charlie Morton's a pretty big guy, but he has got very quick feet.
Foul ball, 1-1. Dick Stockton along with Mitch Williams here. Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they've had some Donniebrooks over the years. They've been played in several playoff games, and there's a youngster sporting a souvenir to the delight of his mom, and he'll never forget that.
No, that's something every kid wants.
1-1 misses outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Reds were in first place on May the 18th. They were 7 games over 500. as were the Pirates when they briefly had the lead.
And both teams, it's all centered around their pitching. In order to win in this league, you have got to get good starting pitching.
Foul ball, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Do you see anyone that can beat the Phillies in baseball this year?
Oh, yeah.
Including the American League.
I think Boston or the Yankees can give them a run for their money. The thing people have to understand is a short series, a 5-game series, any team can be beaten.
Both
but right now.
Right now you wouldn't. But the Yankees and Red Sox both have some pitching issues.
They definitely have pitching issues. There's no question about that. But the thing you got to guard against if you're the Philadelphia Phillies is thinking you're just going to throw your hat on the field and win it. You got to go out there. You can look at last year. They should have been in the World Series again last year. And they were shut down by a San Francisco Giants pitching staff.
Currently the Giants trailing the Arizona Diamondbacks by 2.5 games in the NL West. There goes the runner, and the ball bounded slowly. And Ronnie Cedeno throws out Cairo. Advancing to second is Jay Bruce, and there are 2 down. Well, Chevrolet proudly supports the great game of baseball at all levels. See how they're making kids' baseball dreams come true across the USA at ChevyBaseball.com. 2 down, and Drew Stubbs, who was safe on an infield hit his first time up. Great speed going down the line.
Drew Stubbs is an amazing athlete. He hasn't quite learned the art of hitting for average, but he's got power, unbelievable speed, tremendous throwing arm. He just needs to learn to put the ball in play a little more.
Ball 1 outside, no advance. And you talk about the ability to run with the power. Drew Stubbs with 59 steals since the start of last year and 37 home runs. That's a pretty nifty combination.
Yeah, he's a strong kid, fast kid. And he needs to spend a lot of time in the video room to learn how pitchers are trying to attack him.
Fly ball going back as Tabata, but he's there to make the catch. And that'll retire the side. Bruce is left at second. Andrew McCutchen will be leading off for the Pirates when they come up in the 4th, trailing 1-0. Ryan Ludwig and Neil Walker against Dontrell Willis here in the last of the fourth inning. 1-0 to McCutchen, who bounced to third his first time up.
And this is one of those times you don't want to fall behind him.
There's a strike. 1-1. We were just talking, Mitch, about Drew Stubbs and his ability to run, steal bases, hit for power. McCutchen the same way. One of 4 National League players with 15 homers and 20 stolen bases this year. Call strike 2, 1-2. Willis jumps ahead of McCutchen here.
And this is good. I like the fact that he fell behind with a fastball first pitch and then just threw that get me over breaking ball to get even, and now he's ahead in the count. And he's forcing McCutchen now to protect. That's what you want to do as a pitcher. You want to put that hitter in protect mode, not turn it loose mode.
Pirates have had the leadoff man on in each of the first 3 innings. Slapped in the hole, off the glove of Cairo, and McCutchen will reach. And for the 4th straight inning, the Pirates have the leadoff man aboard with Ryan Ludwig coming to the plate.
We're going to look at this pitch-by-pitch sequence. He starts him, like I said, fastball up and away, then a get-me-over breaking ball, fastball down the middle. Now he comes back with another breaking ball, and then gets him to get. He gets on top of a high fastball right there. Not a whole lot Miguel Cairo could have done. Even if he would have fielded it, he's not getting McCutchen at first base.
And it's a base hit. And McCutchen with the second hit of the game for the Pirates. Here's Ryan Ludwig, and Ludwig through the hole and past Paul Janisch into left field. And runners now at first and second, nobody out. McCutchen to second and Ryan Ludwig. So back-to-back singles. That one got under the glove of Janisch, who, of course, forced to play shortstop with Edgar Renteria, who has been injured lately with a strained groin. Hasn't played since Tuesday's game, and that has hurt the Reds.
Well, yeah. I mean, Paul Janisch is a more than adequate shortstop. Edgar Renteria is a very intelligent shortstop. He's been around the league forever. He knows how to position himself. And this right now, this is, for me, is where Dontrell Willis is going to get it together, or they're going to knock him out of the game.
Neil Walker, and Walker singled to start the second inning. So 3 hits now for the Pirates. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Reds lead at 1-0. Tying run is at second. And bunting in the air and caught by Willis, and no play. So Neil Walker was looking to sacrifice.
Wow.
With Brandon Wood on deck, and
I want to know if they called this an infield fly or not, because if I'm Dontrell Willis, I'm letting this ball drop. I'm throwing to first and then throwing to second. You got a triple play or a double play, excuse me. You let that ball drop, and then you throw behind the lead runner. I don't think they called it an infield fly.
No, they did not.
So he could have gotten a double play out of that had he let that ball fall.
So Brandon Wood fly to left his first time up. Runners remain at first and second, 1 out. 1-0 the count. Infield is a double play depth for the Reds.
This is the first time Dontrell Willis has been in trouble in this game, and it's going to be really curious to me to see how he reacts to it. So far, so good.
One 1-0 pitch took something off that delivery. 79 miles per hour. And the count 1-1 to Brandon Wood. Pirates trying to draw even in this game or forge ahead here in the bottom of the 4th inning against Dontrell Willis, looking for his first win of the year. Making his 8th start.
And the thing Dontrell's got to guard against right now is falling into patterns. He fell behind McCutchen with a fastball up through a get-me-over slider. He fell behind Wood with a fastball up through a get-me-over slider. And these hitters are going to start taking notice of that. And if they're in a 1-0 count, they're going to start sitting on that slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
fastball, and Wood fouls it straight back. Pirates with 100 different lineups written down by Clint Hurdle during the course of this year. During their slide, they lost 10 in a row at one point.
And that's the shame of it all. I mean, they were rolling right along, and the same thing happened last year to the San Diego Padres, who no one expected anything out of. And they were leading their division and had a 10-game losing streak, I think around August, and they end up losing that division by a game.
This is a team that has not had a winning record since 1992. But as you mentioned, they have a great history. And definitely appear on their way back with superb young players. And swing and a miss, and Wood goes down for the second out. Well, September 11th, the regular season begins with a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. Yes, football is back. Falcons take on the Bears in Chicago. Two of the NFC's best go head-to-head, or the Eagles and the Rams. Lions face the Buccaneers. Then the Giants take on the Redskins in D.C. Vikings battle the Chargers, Seahawks and 49ers, or Panthers and Cardinals. Coverage begins Sunday, September 11th with the Built Ford Tough Fox NFL pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Check your local listings for the games in your area. Here's Ronnie Cedeno.
And it appears to me that Dontrelle Willis has more confidence in locating his slider than he does his fastball.
1 ball and 1 strike to Cedeno, who hit into a double play, a shot that was speared by Willis, but it was Brandon Phillips who made the superb play on his knees falling back to double up Cedeno to end the second inning. 2 out, 1-1. Pirates got the first 2 runners on, and then Willis got Walker, who tried to bunt and caught his bunt in the air for the first out, struck out Brandon Wood. 3rd strikeout of the game for Willis.
And this is where Dontrelle really has to turn the concentration up. He gets the first 2 guys on, gets the next 2 guys out. The inning is not over. This is where he really has to concentrate, because until this guy is out, the inning's not over.
He's up high with that pitch, and now it's 3-1. Michael McHenry would be next for the Pirates. So a pivotal hitter for Willis, as you mentioned. He starts to lose it here, maybe out of the game, as the team may be as well, and a base hit to left field through the hole. McCutchen rounds 3rd. He'll come around and score as the throw is not cut off, and the runners advance to 2nd and 3rd. Didn't have much of a chance to get McCutchen, and Cedeno winds up on 2nd. Ludwig goes to 3rd, and it's a 1-1 game.
This right here, as a third baseman, you have got to know there is no chance you're throwing McCutchen out at home. That ball has got to be cut off, and the runner coming from 2nd tagged out, and you're out of the inning. Instead, now you sit here 2nd, 3rd, and 2 outs, and they could be in the dugout with a 1-1 tie.
So Brian Price, the pitching coach for the Reds, coming out to the mound. It's a base hit for Cedeno, and an RBI, his 29th in the year, and he goes to 2nd on the throw to the plate. So now the Pirates have 2 runners in scoring position, and McHenry with an opportunity here, and a 1-1 game.
And the curious part about that is if he cuts that ball off, because you got to know, McCutchen's one of the fastest men in all of baseball. If you cut that ball off and tag that guy out at 3rd, you have a better chance of tagging that guy out at 3rd before McCutchen gets to home, and the run doesn't count. Now, as we look here, if he cuts this ball, he's got a chance to tag that guy before McCutchen scores, and they're out of the inning with no runs.
And with the first base open and the weak-hitting Charlie Morton, the pitcher, on deck, they're going to walk McHenry and load the bases. But it's the little things that don't appear in a box score that many times decide games like this.
Yes, and I'm positive Clint Hurdle is going to have a talk, or not Clint Hurdle, excuse me, Dusty is going to have a talk with Miguel Cairo. That ball has got to be cut off. You know you're not going to throw McCutchen out. Not with 2 outs. As soon as that ball's put in play, that burner is in motion and gone.
And you can always say, well, you're going to walk the number 8 hitter and pitch to the pitcher who struck out his first time up. But when you have a man on third, a lot of things can happen that could get the run home.
Well, and Charlie Morton is hitting .050, which is hold your cards, we have a bingo.
You know, he has 2 hits this year, but both are doubles. So when he connects, which isn't often, he gets the extra base hit. Now the count, foul ball down the first base line. No balls and 2 strikes.
Now you watch this ball come in. You see McCutchen. If he cuts that ball and tags that runner, I don't think McCutchen's still going to score. But at least they're out of the inning. They're not sitting here bases loaded and 2 outs. Fred Lewis made a good throw. He did what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to throw it head high to the cutoff man.
2 strikes to Charlie Morton. The bases are loaded with 2 out. And there is a ball gloved by Brandon Phillips. Great hands there. And the side is out, but that's how it could get. The Pirates tie it up, and we're all even 1-1 going into the 5th. On a beautiful day, a lot of rain last night. In fact, a 41-minute rain delay and nearly a 4-hour game. 11-8, the final score. Reds winning. We have a pitcher's duel today, and the totals are identical as we go to the 5th inning. In the bottom third of the order for the Reds, facing Charlie Morton, Ramon Hernandez, Paul Yanish, and Dontrell Willis.
Ramon Hernandez is having a pretty solid year for the Reds. 11 homers, 31 RBIs coming into today. Hitting .295.
And 3 for 8 in his career against Morton. Bounced into a double play his first time up in a sparkling play by Neil Walker, who was able to make the tag on Drew Stubbs and then get it over to first to double up Hernandez. 2-0 the count. Now 2-1.
And that is the big difference between Charlie Morton this year and Charlie Morton last year. He didn't have that nasty sinker to go to in a 2-0 count.
Fair ball. Gloved beautifully by Brandon Wood, and Hernandez is thrown out at first. Superb play by Wood behind the bag on a hard shot to the third baseman.
This is a great play. Look at the concentration on Wood, and catches that ball in an in-between hop, gets to his feet, sets him, and it's only a great play if you complete both ends of it, people. And then makes a good throw to first base. Watch this in-between hop and the concentration on Wood's face right here.
His back was to first base and recovered and threw out Hernandez. Paul Yanish. Wood. Superb play. The Pirates coming in 14th in the league in fielding. And a one-hopper beautifully gloved by Cedeno. And Yanish is retired. So the left side of the Pirate infield making sparkling plays here in the 5th inning, in there 2 out. Well, time now for a DirecTV game break. Brewers and the Mets, and look at this shot by Prince Fielder into the upper deck, his 28th of the year. Brewers were leading 2-1. They stretched their lead to 5-1, and it's 5-1 in favor of the front-running Brewers. And how hot are they right now in this division as Dontrell Willis takes a stride?
That was a bomb.
One hopper. Routine play after 2 terrific plays by the Pirate infield. A 1-2-3 inning for Charlie Morton. We've completed 4.5. All tied 1-1. Sponsored by Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Turns shaving into gliding and skeptics into believers. And aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. To get the best offer of the year, call 1-800-DirecTV. Top of the order, Jose Tabata for the Pirates has walked twice against Dontrell Willis. Willis has walked 3 in the game, including an intentional pass. And the first pitch is a strike to Tabata.
Now let's see if he goes to that get me over breaking ball again, second pitch.
Shot, backhanded, and through. Phillips into center field. So Tabata is on with a base hit He's been on base 3 times today. And Garrett Jones coming to the plate. On Tuesday night, Garrett Jones with a walk-off home run against veteran Arthur Jones. And the Arthur Rhodes, that is, and the Pirates winning 5-4.
That was a bomb.
Yep. Second career walk-off home run for Jones. And the second walk-off home run for the Pirates this season. McCutchen had the other. He is 0 for 2 in this game with a strikeout and a ground out, and takes strike 1. Well, the score 1-1, and the Pirates have the leadoff man aboard for the 5th straight inning. They had 2 on and nobody out last inning and managed to score only 1 run. There's a ball, and it's 1-1. Brandon Phillips, short glove second baseman, and that one sped by him.
Yeah, that does not happen very often with Phillips at second base, ball getting by him.
5th hit of the game, and the throw over. Not much of a lead for Tabata, and 5 hits now, and right now the Pirates have out-hit the Reds 5-4.
Dontrell really changes his arm slot when he's throwing to left-handers, and I like this arm slot a whole lot better. I wish he'd use this slot more when he's throwing to right-handers. He's on top of the ball better. He has better plane on the pitches.
Lead at first, Jose Tabata. And inside, and it hit him. Garrett Jones trots down to first base, and now the runners are at first and second, nobody out. Sounds of the game. Here's Brandon Phillips at first base talking to Garrett Jones about that walk-off home run we just showed you from Tuesday night against the Cardinals.
Hey, man, just swinging that log, baby. That's all you do. Barrel meets ball. You know, you could do it too, baby. I've seen you do it plenty of times. I seen you go to the upper room, especially when you hit that dog in a home run the other day. Woo, that was beautiful. Man, me wanna go out there.
Watching the highlights and giving him his credit. Here's McCutchen, takes strike 1. So the Pirates have a threat going here.
I'm telling you, Dick, they're going to start wearing earmuffs. First basemen are going to start wearing earmuffs when Phillips gets on first base.
You want to say, you talking to me? Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver.
Oh, I love him.
You talking to me?
You put him and Orlando Hudson in a room together and see who comes out first with their ears bleeding.
Meanwhile, Willis is ahead of McCutchen, 2 strikes. Andrew McCutchen, 1 for 2, single to lead off the 4th inning and scored the tying run. And the catcher Ramon Hernandez got hit, so time called here.
I didn't see where that caught him.
It glanced off his forearm, it appears. And still walking it off.
That's going to raise a monkey bump if it hit him on that forearm muscle. Oh, ow, yeah, that's going to leave a mark.
Now Dontrell Willis coming over to.
You get hit in that muscle, it's instantaneously going to tighten up, and there's no real way to keep it loose. You see it hits him right on top of it, and that's like getting hit right in that muscle on top of the forearm with a hammer.
So spraying it wouldn't do much good.
I mean, you can see the red mark on his arm right there. He's going to have to keep bending his wrist and stretching it, or it's going to knot up on him. And you got a situation right here at the plate, one of the fastest men in baseball. He's your best hitter. You've been struggling. You got first and second, nobody out. And Andrew McCutchen swinging and not bunting.
As well he should be swinging away.
Well, and there's 2 schools of thought on that. The way that you got probably your best pitcher on the mound, I'm bunting these guys in the scoring position because you got Ludwig, who's a great RBI guy, right-handed. standing on deck.
Well, McCutchen goes down on strikes. All third strike. The crowd not pleased with that call by home plate umpire Jerry Lane, who's the crew chief. And here it is.
And I know he's your best power guy, but when you're not scoring a bunch of runs, you have to go back to Spalding guidebook baseball. Get them over, get them in.
Ryan Ludwig singled his last time up. Runners at first and second now with one out. Foul ball. Well, right now it's a mirror image, Mitch, of what happened last inning when the Pirates had two on back-to-back singles by McCutchen and Ludwig. Only that time Neil Walker tried to bunt the runners over and bunted it in the air for the first out. And then Brandon Woods struck out, but then Ronnie Cedeno came through with a two-out single to tie the game.
Well, and right now, Ludwig, you don't have to look for a ball to kill. You got to look for a ball just to hit back up the middle and drive one of these guys in.
Lays off that pitch. 1-1 the count to Ryan Ludwig, playing his 18th game since coming over from the Pirates. There you see the runners. Tabata at second and Garrett Jones on at first base. One out here in the fifth inning. Pirates trying to even this series at one apiece. Dontrell Willis in the pitcher's duel with Charlie Morton here in the fifth. Good eye by Ludwig, and it's 2-1.
And Dontrell's making some pretty good pitches. He's staying out of the middle of the plate. He's not getting much help behind the plate from Jerry Lane.
Now it's 2-2.
He got away with one right there.
Mm-hmm. Good pitch for the hitter.
Yeah, he got away with a breaking ball in the middle of the plate, and I know Ludwig is. You look at this, and this is right in the hitter's wheelhouse, and Ludwig just pulled off just enough to where he fouled it back rather than barreling it.
You're Ryan Ludwig. Every time it's the trading deadline, you got to keep your bags packed, it seemed. Last 2 years, going from the Cardinals to the Padres, and then the Padres to the Pirates. Stays alive, fouls this one off. Count holds it 2-2.
Well, as I said, Ryan Ludwig's been a good RBI guy. And I know that Clint Hurdle does not want his best power guy, McCutchen, bunting. But I'm afraid I'd have to do that there.
Two runners on and one out. And once again, Ludwig stays alive.
The sad part is McCutchen could bunt for a base hit. I mean, if he just went up there and tried to bunt for a base hit, he's going to move the runners up, and he might end up getting a knock out of it anyway. He doesn't necessarily have to square around and sacrifice.
Fly ball down the right field line, drifting out of play. So Ryan Ludwig making Dontrell Willis work here with 2 on and 1 out in the fifth inning. Pirates, have Derek Lee to get their first baseman on the disabled list with a fractured bone in his left wrist.
Yeah, they make the deadline move to get Derek Lee here, who's a tremendous defensive first baseman, has some pop, and he isn't here very long at all and gets hit in the wrist and breaks it.
And the count is full now to Ludwig. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Neil Walker on deck.
There's no action out in that Reds bullpen yet. I have a feeling should Ludwig reach, there's going to be some action going on out in Cincinnati's bullpen.
Willis getting set to throw his 9th pitch to Ludwig and his 85th pitch in the game. Runners go. Base hit to center field. Cavata will score, and Jones will go to third, and the Pirates take a 2-1 lead. So Ryan Ludwig with a terrific at-bat against Dontrell Willis, fouling off several pitches, and on the 9th delivery from Willis singles home the go-ahead run.
And this is where hindsight's 20/20. The ball's up in the zone. He drives that ball back through the middle, and you look back, and had McCutcheon bunted those guys to second, third, now you got a 3-1 lead, or a 3-1 lead rather than a 2-1 lead.
And RBI number 70 for Ryan Ludwig as Tabata comes across. Pirates, who were trailing 1-0 with a tying run in the fourth, now taking a 2-1 lead here in the fifth. Still one out, and Neil Walker the batter with runners at the corners. Walker with a single and was out trying to sacrifice, bunted it in the air, handled by the pitcher. Willis swings at this breaking pitch. Strike one.
And now what Dontrell Willis has got to do is minimize the damage. He's got to find a way out of this inning, whether it be via punch out right here or a double play ball, but he's got to keep this game at a 2-1 game.
Good fastball. Foul tipped into the glove of Hernandez, and it's 0-2.
And this is where you find out how far can I stretch this. He just got him to go after a high fastball in the middle of the plate. Let's see if we can get it go a notch higher in the middle of the plate and get him to chase. And he throws him a breaking ball there.
Well, Willis pitched out of it last inning, giving up only one run here, and now in danger of a fly ball. Getting another run in. Popped up, out of play. Saturday baseball in Pittsburgh. And Fox pleased to be here in Pittsburgh, and Neil Walker's
37 RBIs with 2 strikes on him.
Right.
That tells me he's a guy that's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
Line's foul, and I think he also shortens up a bit to make sure he makes contact and is not looking for the big cut.
Well, you can tell that right there because that's a breaking ball, and he's on it. The best pitch to throw to a hitter that is basically taking an emergency hack is a fastball in. That's the hardest pitch to protect against when you're up there trying to protect.
1-2 pitch and a base hit to left field. Garrett Jones will score, and Neil Walker with his second hit of the game, giving the Pirates a 3-1 lead. Stopping at second is Ludwig.
A pitch in the zone, 1-2 count. You got to go out of the strike zone. And we've got action now down there in the Reds bullpen.
Brian Price, pitching coach, out for the second time. So 3 hits this inning, and the Pirates have 6 hits in the last 2 innings. Sam LeCure warming up in the bullpen, and Jerry Lane coming out to break up the conference.
Yeah, that was a lengthy conference right there because they're trying to get LeCure ready as quick as possible.
Batter is Brandon Wood, 0 for 2. So last inning you said it was a pivotal time for Dontrell Willis as to whether he would stay in the game or get out of it. Got out of it with only 1 run, but not this time.
Exactly.
Good batsman hurt him too.
Well, this is where you separate pitchers from good pitchers from great pitchers. Greg Maddux said you go back and you check the number of 2-out runs that are scored, and the great pitchers are the ones that don't give up those runs with 2 outs.
Just cut it off.
Exactly. You've got to stop the bleeding. You've got to learn how to get out of innings because I don't care how good you are, you're going to be in situations where you got runners on base with 2 outs. You've got to be able to make pitches and get out of it.
1-1 to count to Brandon Wood. Ludwig at second, Neil Walker at first, both delivering run-scoring singles here in the 5th inning. You knew if the Pirates kept getting the leadoff man on, which they've had in all 5 innings thus far, they were going to break through, and they have. Foul out of play, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes to third baseman Brandon Wood. And of course, Morton, who is 3-0 and 0.39 ERA coming into this game, did allow a first inning run, and giving him a little bit of a cushion right now.
And the way he's throwing right now, 3 runs looks like it could be more than enough.
Check swing. He went around.
I was going to say.
Field to Bob Davis.
He went there.
Yep. Woods strikeout for out number 2. So he goes down for the second time on strikes.
Yeah, that's one where the home plate umpire shouldn't even have to ask for help, but I like that he does, because he's not supposed to be watching the hitter. He's supposed to be watching the pitch.
Ronnie Cedeno delivered a 2-out run-scoring single last inning to tie it up. Pirates now leading 3-1. First pitch, ball 1 to Cedeno.
If you notice, Dontrell's not getting that call on the inside part of the plate. It's because watch where Jerry Lane sets up. He's setting up on the inside corner. So he sees if that ball's, even if it's an inch off the plate, he knows it's off.
Phillips goes to first to retire the side, but not before the Pirates get 2 runs on 3 hits. And it was Ryan Ludwig with an RBI single, and then Neil Walker delivers. 3-1 Pirates as we move to the 6th. By Chevrolet, proud to support youth baseball across the country. And by Burger King and the all-new BK Burger and Chicken Minis. Dick Stockton, Mitch Williams, Allegheny River, and Pittsburgh Pirates, who played Forbes Field, Three Rivers Stadium, and now PNC Park. And they built stadiums and great location for fans to walk from downtown over the bridges to either a Pirate or a Steeler game. Brandon Phillips leading off, taking inside ball 1. And there you see a fan still trying to make it into the ballpark.
Tardy.
3-1 Pirates lead. Phillips 2 for 2 with a pair of singles facing Charlie Morton. Now staked to a 2-run lead, comes inside again on Phillips.
And this is an inning right now. This is your starting pitching staff. You want to shut down inning. They've given you the lead. Charlie Morton needs to go right back out there and throw up a goose egg.
Two balls and a strike. Morton has given up a 1 run on 4 hits, allowed 2 hits in the first inning, 1 in the second, and 1 in the third. Only 1 base runner has reached since the 3rd inning. A shot up the middle. What a play by Neil Walker. Turns and makes the no, not in time. Almost had it. And Bob Davidson made sure before he gave that safe sign. Very close at first base.
Pulled Garrett Jones off the bag at first.
Well, that throw got there in a hurry considering where Walker was.
Well, and I think had Neil Walker known he had more time.
Yeah, pulled him off.
It pulled him off. Yep. Good call by Bob Davidson right there, but a tremendous play right here by Neil Walker to get to this ball.
You know, Mitch, the Pirates, as we said, 93 errors, second most to the Cubs in the National League, 14th in the league. There you see Walker again. They have made the sparkling plays, even though Phillips reached for the 3rd straight time on hits, dives back safely. Walker with that tag in the 3rd inning, and then the pickoff at first, and then the great plays made by Wood at 3rd and Cedeno at short last inning.
Yeah, they've got some young talent on this team, and I think Clint Hurdle, if you're going to have a successful pitching staff, it's going to be predicated on what your defense can do, because you're not going to strike everybody out.
Phillips goes and base hit through the vacated spot, and Phillips will go to 3rd base, and Fred Lewis is aboard. Runners at 1st and 3rd. So Ronnie Cedeno was covering 2nd as Phillips was running, and the ball was hit to the vacated spot.
And that's a situation where the shortstop and the second baseman are communicating with each other. Who is going to cover on a steal, and it's all going to be decided upon by what the pitch the catcher calls for. And in that situation, I imagine he called for something off speed to where Lewis is going to pull that ball rather than hit it the other way.
So back-to-back base hits. Joey Votto, who knocked in the Reds' run in the 1st inning with a base hit. So Cincinnati coming back here in the 6th inning, and this is exactly what you had pointed out moments ago. You want to hold them off after you've taken that lead, as the Pirates did with 2 in the 5th inning. But here's the dangerous Votto, and he lays off the breaking ball, and it's 2-0 to Votto.
Well, I know it sounds stupid because Jay Bruce is a very, very good hitter, but you're in a cripple count 2-0 to Joey Votto. Stay away. If you walk him, you walk him.
3-0.
That's a good pitch. For me, I like that pitch right there.
Phillips is at 3rd, and Lewis on at 1st base. 6 hits now for the Reds, who trail 3-1. The tying run is at 1st base. Got the green light and a base hit to right field. Phillips will come around and score, and Lewis will go to 2nd. So Votto gets the green light on 3-0 and delivers with an RBI base hit, his 2nd of the game. Now has 77 RBIs. It's 3-2.
You cannot assume, especially with Joey Votto at the plate, that he's taken 3-0. And the one thing I said Charlie Morton couldn't do in this game and get away with it is let Joey Votto beat you. Well, the Reds have 2 runs, and Joey Votto's responsible for driving in both of them.
Daniel McCutchen warming up in the Pirate bullpen now as Jay Bruce comes to the plate, and the meeting at the mound is Ray Searage, the pitching coach. And there is McCutchen. Now the Reds have come back with 3 hits. Phillips, Lewis, and Votto on a 3-0 count. Hits are all even now, 7-7. And here is Bruce, who was struck out and was hit by a pitch.
And when he was hit by a pitch, Morton was up on him 1-2 in the count.
So the tying run is at 2nd, and the go-ahead run at 1st base. Still nobody out for the Reds here in the 6th. And the first pitch is a strike, so we'll see how Charlie Morton reacts to adversity right here, Mitch.
Yeah, he's got to make pitches now. He started Bruce off with a fastball. He's made him look bad with a couple of breaking balls today. And there it is again. And now he's got his choice.
Here is Jay Bruce with a solo home run, which ruined Charlie Morton's bid for a shutout on April the 15th in the ninth inning with 2 outs and the Reds trailing 6-0. And this time he fouls it off, so Jay Bruce fouled this one off his foot. And that'll sting a bit.
Well, call a tow truck.
What happened to sympathy? You talked about that earlier.
No sympathy in baseball.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm Morton, I'm going to try and get a punch out without a swing. So I'm going to have my catcher set outside, and I'm going to try and backdoor a breaking ball and get him to quit on it.
He moved to the middle of the plate.
He punched him out down and in his first at bat. Go the other direction now. Try and get that called third strike without the swing. Backdoor your breaking ball.
Miguel Cairo on deck. Saw him wielding the bat.
This is a big at bat right here. If he can get through Bruce, he's got a chance. Cairo, not as fast as he once was, is a double play chance.
And a ground ball. Walker tags the runner and gets the double play. Big play, and the Pirates and Neil Walker tagging Joey Votto and throwing out Bruce, and going to third base is Lewis. 2 out, runner at third. Big play here.
No, you don't see this very often at all, where the second baseman is able to field the ball, tag the runner, and go to first. And this is the second time in this ball game Neil Walker's done that.
And that'll bring up Miguel Cairo with 2 out. And the tying run in Fred Lewis at third base. Cairo 0 for 2. Line to Brandon Wood and then grounded out to shortstop. And Cedeno playing deep at shortstop, right on the edge of the outfield grass. And a good breaking ball on the inside corner for a strike.
And again, as good as that makes you feel as a pitcher, you got that double play. This inning is not over. He has got to finish this hitter.
And a big hitter with the tying run at third base. And off the glove of Morton, recovers and throws out Cairo. That had gotten past him. That would have been in center field. Reds get a run. It's 3-2, Pittsburgh leads. Back here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Michael McHenry facing Dontrell Willis. And first pitch pops it up to the right side. Joey Votto will make the catch in foul territory for the first out. McHenry's retired. Here's the story in a 3-2 pitchers duel. Dontrell Willis giving up 3 runs and 7 hits. Charlie Morton also 7 hits in the game. Brandon Phillips 3 for 3 has scored a couple of runs. And Neil Walker with his 37th RBI with 2 strikes leading the league. And a pinch hitter coming up for Charlie Morton. And that's going to be Matt Diaz. And Matt Diaz has had great success hitting .400 against Dontrell Willis.
That stat right there in the middle is shocking to me that Diaz has not hit a home run this year.
So Morton, you didn't think that he would be the first pitcher to leave, and Diaz delivers a base hit. So Matt Diaz, pinch hitting for Charlie Morton, continues his torrid hitting against Dontrell Willis. Now 11 for 26 and 3 home runs against Willis, and a 1-out single here in the 6th inning for the Pirates.
And 5 of Dontrell's 7 starts for the Reds this year have been quality starts. 6 runs, or 6 innings and 3 runs or less. Well, when I came up, if you had a 4.5 ERA, you were a pretty good chance you were going back down.
In a hurry. Here is Jose Tabata, and he takes the first pitch, ball 1. He's been on base 3 times today, 2 walks and a single, scoring a run in the 5th inning when the Pirates took a 3-1 lead. Reds climbing back with 1 in the 6th. Tabata pops it up, foul territory. Votto gives way, and it looks like Brandon Phillips makes the catch.
I'm not sure if he gave way there.
Good.
Let me go ahead and just knock down Brandon. Hope he catches
Well, he
it.
nudged him a little bit. Did he nudge him?
Yeah, this right here is where Brandon's got to be calling him off all the way. The ball, the way it went up, it's coming back towards the field to play. Yeah, look at him give way to Brandon there.
He gave in.
When you give way, there's normally not cleat marks on the guy's chest.
Here's Garrett Jones. Scored a run after he was hit by a pitch last inning. So there are 2 down. Diaz singled as a pinch hitter on at first base. The throw goes over there. Willis, by the way, still in the game, had a 30-pitch inning last inning and has gone over the 100 mark here in the 6th.
I want to hear the mic. We've got Brandon Phillips' mic today. I want to hear that conversation right there.
Well, that one the censors may have to get first.
Joey, I told you I had it.
Or if he didn't, Votto would say, why didn't you call for it? Chasing that one was Garrett Jones, and it's 0-2. So Willis 1 pitch away from getting out of the 6th inning.
And he's got to make that pitch. If Dontrell Willis is ever going to make himself relevant again in this game at the big league level, these are situations he has got to show the Cincinnati Reds, the other 29 other clubs in our league, that he can make these pitches. He's 0-2 against a good hitter, and Garrett Jones just threw him a nasty slider.
There goes the runner, and they have him picked off and out at second base. So Diaz was running, and that'll do it. And we'll return to Pittsburgh after a word from your local Fox station. Pro Glide. Pirates in front of the Reds 3-2. And a new pitcher for the Pirates is Chris Resop, 28-year-old right-hander from Naples, Florida. In relief of Charlie Morton, who worked 6 innings, gave me up 2 runs on 7 hits. He walked 1, struck out 2. And here is the right-hander, gave up a run in an inning last night, but it was the victor Tuesday night against the Cardinals, when Jones hit that game-winning walk-off home run. Drew Stubbs, first to face him. And the first pitch, fastball, strike 1.
And you can see Resop's got a pretty doggone good fastball. He's got good life on it, 93 miles an hour. Got a good breaking ball. As you see right there, he's got one of those 12-6 varieties. My breaking ball was 12 to 320. Where I threw it, and they hit it over the 320 sign.
Nothing like self-deprecating humor. It works all the time. Shot, foul down the left field line. I think you sell yourself a little short.
No,
Mr. Williams.
I'm 6'4".
And now I'm the straight man for you. Not bad.
Exactly.
It's my best role. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Drew Stubbs, Ramon Hernandez, and Paul Janisch. Scheduled up here in the 7th inning. Reds trailing by a run. And a base hit to left field. So Stubbs with his second base hit of the game, leadoff man on, tying run aboard for the Reds. Well, Fox Sports is proud to support Stand Up to Cancer and their work to fund groundbreaking research that helps accelerate treatment to patients. Stand up for someone you love. Visit standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports to learn more. Well, an interesting battle, and while these teams really may not be in the battle for the division anymore, Cincinnati, it's interesting, they're battling each other. The Reds disappointed, and the Pirates have. I think it's great to see teams, you mentioned San Diego now, have something to look forward to.
Well, they do. I mean, they've got some youthful players that the city here in Pittsburgh can get excited about. In Cincinnati, if you can't get excited about guys like Brandon Phillips and Johnny Cueto and guys like that, I mean, you're not a baseball fan. I think these teams are. Last year the Reds made the playoffs. This year's disappointing, but they'll bounce back. They've just got to get their pitching staff in order, because they've got Joey Votto, Jay Bruce, Brandon Phillips. They've got a laundry list of extremely talented players.
You know, up until last year, Mitch, it's been a while for the Reds. You know, the big red machine, the great teams that they had here, great baseball town.
1990.
Cincinnati, yes, that's terrific. And the Pittsburgh Pirates that we talked a little bit about, you know, winning, in 1960, a lot of years ago, Bill Mazeroski, they still talk about that here in Pittsburgh. And, of course, you know, We Are Family, the teams with Willie Stargell.
Yeah, Dave Parker, those guys. And I can tell you from a player standpoint, back in the late 80s, early 90s, it was no fun to come in here and play. When Jim Leland was here, Bonds was here, they had some pretty good ball clubs here in Pittsburgh.
Ramon Hernandez, who bounced into a double play. Neil Walker making a tag. That's twice he's done it in this game. And then robbed of a base hit by Brandon Wood behind the bag. There goes Stubbs, and the throw to second not in time. Stubbs with his 30th stolen base of the year. And the Reds now have the tying run in scoring position.
He can flat out run. You see, you get that jump off that pitcher. There's nothing the catcher can do. I mean, you can hold the ball. That's, I think, the most effective way to keep runners close. But speed, you could tell Ricky Henderson you're going to throw over. You could tell Vince Coleman you're going to throw over. The guys that can run are going to steal the base. That's all there is to it.
Coming into the day, tied for 5th in the National League in stolen bases. The count 1 ball, 1 strike to Hernandez. Chris Resop in relief of Charlie Morton, who won't get the complete game shutout. Could get the victory today, however, for the Pirates, 3-0 against them.
And it's not looking good right now. He's got nobody out in Stubbs on second. Any base hit in the outfield, Stubbs is scoring.
Cedeno playing behind the runner to try to keep Stubbs close. 2-1 now to Hernandez. Paul Janisch on deck for Cincinnati. Not too many options for Dusty Baker with, as we mentioned, Renteria on the shelf right now. Tony Watson in the Pirates bullpen, and of course he just called up, and Aroldis Chapman working for the Reds.
Well, I'll tell you what, you want to see a fastball. If Aroldis gets to the mound, you're going to see a fastball.
2-2 now to Hernandez.
Now he was ahead 1-2. Resop was ahead 1-2 on Stubbs and threw a breaking ball over the middle of the plate, and Stubbs hit it into left for a base hit.
Stubbs 2 for 3 today. Reds have 2 stolen bases. Votto in the first, and Stubbs here.
Strikes get hit. That's all there is to it. You get outs with balls, and you got to expand and see how far Hernandez will go. You got to make a 2-2 pitch right here. It's got to be your pitch.
Fouled back right on that fastball was Hernandez.
And see, anytime a pitch, comes down to a pitcher being able to read whether or not a hitter is on his fastball. If a hitter fouls your fastball straight back, he's not on it. He's late. Everyone thinks because he fouled it straight back that he's right on it. He's not. He's late on that pitch. Now, if I'm Resop, I'm going right back middle of the plate, just above the letters, with another fastball. Resop can reach 95. If he can get it in the middle of the plate, there's no way Hernandez can lay off it. As we see right there. Now he has changed his eye level. He's shown him up. He's shown him down. He's coming off and showing him a high fastball right there. Now you can throw that breaking ball, bounce it, and get him to go after it. But at some point, it better start over the plate. It just can't finish there.
Stubbs with the lead at second. And Cedeno trying to keep him close. Does not have a big lead at this point in the 2-2 pitch. That's low and away, and a full count with Janisch on deck. And then the pitcher spot for the Reds. Reds took a 1-0 lead in the first inning on Joey Votto's RBI single. Pirates came back and tied it in the fourth. Took a 3-1 lead in the fifth, only to see the Reds answer with a run in the top of the sixth inning. Payoff pitch to Hernandez. Fly ball to right field. Tabata going back, and it's off the wall. Scoring will be Stubbs. And going into second is Ramon Hernandez. A good at-bat. And an RBI single double ties the game at 3-3. And the first extra base hit of the game for Cincinnati.
And you see this ball out away from Hernandez. And anytime the ball's out away from him and up, hitters have the ability to get the barrel to the ball.
And we're going to have a pinch runner for Hernandez. And Clint Hurdle coming out, and that will be all for Resop. Well, counting on his relief pitcher and going to the bullpen. 3-3 the score. We'll be back. MLBFanCave.com. Many of baseball's biggest stars have stopped by the cave. Check out all of the videos and see who will visit the cave next. Follow at MLB Fan Cave on Twitter and like the MLB Fan Cave page on Facebook.
That guy spinning on his gourd right there, that was me. I was in last week when it spun around in my hand.
So Giannis is the batter, and grabbing a bat is Ryan Hannigan on deck, presumably to pinch hit for Dontrell Willis in the bunt attempt. And he pulled back, ball one.
Yeah.
And the new pitcher is Tony Watson, 26-year-old from Grimes, Iowa, called up today with Paul Maholm on the disabled list. This is his 26th appearance with the Pirates in his first season in the major leagues. Last pitch for Pittsburgh on August the 5th. Runners at the corners, or the fielders at the corners, looking for the bunt. And this one stopped dead but rolled foul.
And that's what Giannis wants to do. Giannis wants Wood to have to be the player to make the play on the bunt. They don't have the wheel play on, which the wheel play is where the shortstop goes with the runner from second base to third. He breaks a little before the runner does to get there. They're playing this pretty much straight up, so what Giannis wants to do, get the bunt down, make Brandon Wood at third, field it, and you got your runner at third with less than 2 outs.
Dave Sappelt came in to pinch run for Hernandez. Bunted foul, and now it's 1-2. So Giannis now 1 ball and 2 strikes. And
if I'm Dusty Baker, he's bunt. I'm sorry. For me, there's just no excuse for a big league baseball player to not be able to sacrifice.
And, you know, I think the Pirates think so, too, because Wood and Jones at third and first are still, move back a couple of steps, but still respecting the fact that he could bunt with 2 strikes. Watson, but the count 1-2. And he was bunting in the air and right to Watson for the out. So there's 1 out, and Sappelt on at second.
And as pitchers, we're taught when you get a hitter up there to sacrifice, throw high fastballs. For this reason right here. High fastballs have a hard time getting the bunt down. I don't understand it. I'm 46 years old, and I'm pretty sure I could go down there and get a bunt down.
Well, when you're 50, maybe you'll.
All you're doing is catching the ball with the bat. It's when they go to poking at it and trying to do too much with it. You just catch the ball with the bat. It's pretty simple.
Pinch hitter Ryan Hannigan batting for Willis with 1 out. Game tied 3-3, double by Ramon Hernandez, tying the game here in the 7th inning. And the first pitch is ball 1 to Ryan Hannigan, who hit a home run last night. Reds trying to take the lead here. Runner at second with 1 out in the 7th inning. It's been a seesaw game. And Watson with a fastball for a strike, 1-1. Last night in the 5th inning, Hannigan with a solo home run off of Kevin Correa, giving the Reds a 3-2 lead. It was Hannigan's 5th home run this year and 3rd in the last 3 games he's played. So he has been playing long ball lately when he's been in there.
He's in a situation here facing a left-hander. Doesn't need to try and hit a home run. He needs to try and hit something hard back up the middle. He's got that winning run, the go-ahead run, standing out there on second base.
Hannigan is 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter this season. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. With 1 out and on deck, the top of the order, Brandon Phillips, who's been on base 3 times with hits. Tony Watson's pitch. 2-2 now to Hannigan. Drew Stubbs led off with a single and stole second against Chris Resop in relief of Charlie Morton. So Morton can't win this game.
which is that's a sad deal. Charlie pitched better than that, but there's not a whole lot you can do. You go out there, you do the best job you can do, and live with the outcome.
Meanwhile, Dontrell Willis could be a winning pitcher if the Reds take the lead here. And there's a chopper to shortstop, Ronnie Cedeno. Runner goes back to second, and the pinch hitter Hannigan is retired for out number 2. And that'll bring up Brandon Phillips, who has singled in 3 at-bats today and has scored 2 runs.
And this is basically the recipe of why the Reds have not done what everyone expected them to do. Last year, that bunt would have been gotten down. That ground out to short right there would have scored the go-ahead run. Fundamentally, you have to play this game right, or this game will expose you.
And also the Reds, and Dusty Baker will be the first to tell you, have not really had many hitters hot at the same time this year.
No.
One than the other.
The lack of Scott Rowland at third base, his bat not being in the lineup every day, that's hurt him.
And they're going to walk Phillips with first base open and pitch to Fred Lewis. All Lewis did the last time he was up was single to center field. So Brandon Phillips will be walked, so he'll be on base for the 4th straight time in this game. And we'll see if Lewis crosses up the Pirates' strategy here.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be talking while he's walking.
And even after he gets to first and stops walking.
If I'm Garrett Jones, I'm backing up playing on the grass when he gets to first. Brandon's just one of those guys that just loves to put the uniform on.
We've already heard him with sounds of the game, and there he's talking to
Billy Hatcher.
Yep, Billy Hatcher, the first base coach.
I look around, and everywhere I look is somebody I gave up a hit to.
Here is Lewis, who is 1 for 3, singled last inning. So an opportunity here to cross up the Pirates' strategy here. And let's see, we're going to have a pinch hitter.
I think we're going to have a pinch hitter.
Because Joey Votto is on deck, and they're going into
I
the
bet Heisey.
dugout.
I bet Heisey comes out of this dugout in front.
Chris Heisey.
He's not DL'd, is he?
I think
It's not.
He's been on the DL.
Is that Renteria?
Yeah, Edgar Renteria is coming out. So Renteria. Heisey is on the DL with a strained oblique. He's eligible to come off on Sunday, but it may be a few more days. So Edgar Renteria will come up and pinch hit for Fred Lewis, and Ray Searage quickly out to the mound to talk to Tony Watson. Runners at first and second. So Renteria, who left Tuesday's game with a strained groin and hadn't played since. And a veteran who has come up big at big times. 3 World Series, 3 National League teams.
World Series MVP
last year for the Giants, yes.
He is known for getting big hits. And it might be a fillet, just a little duck snort into right field, whatever it is. He puts the bat on the ball in big situations.
I tell you, the right side of the infield is playing back, as is the shortstop, Ronnie Cedeno. First pitch, a strike. Well, the Reds have tied it up here in the 7th inning, 3-3. And about hit the Pirates 9-8. Runners are at first and second with 2 down. Charlie Morton worked 6 innings. Chris Resop came in, gave up a single and a double. And now Tony Watson. And it's 1-1 to Renteria.
And he cannot take chances. I mean, because Votto can hit left-handers. You want to get this inning over with right now.
In the air to center field. McCutchen is back and makes the catch.
Wrong place to hit it.
So Watson gets his man, the pinch hitter Renteria, but the Reds tie it up 3-3 into the Pirate 7th. Gillette is sponsored by Michelin, a better way forward. By DirecTV, now get DirecTV's best offer of the year. And by Chrysler, imported from Detroit. Aroldis Chapman is in for the Reds in a tight, taut 3-3 game as Dontrell Willis departs after working 6 innings. There is Chapman. And there are other changes as well for the Reds in the field. Behind the plate, Ryan Hannigan, who went in as a pinch hitter. And in left field, Dave Sappelt.
Well, I can tell you this, them Pirate hitters better get them bats off the shoulders. Because Aroldis is going to be firing.
And Garrett Jones will be the leadoff hitter. 0 for 2, hit by a pitch, has scored a Pirate run. 3-3, bottom of the 7th.
Wow.
And
he reminds me a lot of me, only he had ability. That was gas right there.
Yes, it was. As was that.
That was a slider at 88.
Pretty good, though.
Yeah,
at
really,
88.
really good.
88 miles an hour for a slider.
If you're a hitter right now, and I've talked to Dusty about this, about whether he is going to be considered to be a starter.
All the way back.
Oh, man, that's 100 underneath your nose.
100 miles an hour. Exactly right on that.
And that's not even close to the hitter. I can tell you this, Garrett Jones' heart is in this, but his behind will not be.
1 ball and 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter, Garrett Jones. And now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Aroldis Chapman, 23-year-old Cuban left-hander, worked a third of an inning last night, faced 1 batter and retired Jones on a ground ball to second. But he saw the streak of 13 straight appearances without a strikeout. And fly ball left field. Sappelt coming over and out of play. 24 strikeouts in the last 15 innings for Chapman, and allowing only one earned run in that span, and that's a Reds fan who got that souvenir.
And you look at this, his hits per inning, he's thrown 36 innings and given up 36 2/3 and given up 14 hits. If he gets a slider in the same zip code, he's out.
Wow.
That's a $101
101.
right there.
Yeah. And Jones goes down for the first out. Time now for today's Burger King mini moment. And Tony Watson just called up by the Pirates. In trouble, Paul Janisch with a bunt. And then Hannigan, pinch hitting, grounds to shortstop. And after an intentional walk to Brandon Phillips, Renteria pinch hitting flies to center. And so Tony Watson cleaning up after the Reds had tied it up and came in with nobody out and put out the fire. And the score remaining 3-3 here. And Andrew McCutchen 1 for 3 with a single and scored a run back in the 4th inning.
And as hard as Chapman throws, this is the one guy I think he's got to mix his pitches and be careful with, because McCutchen can catch up to that if the ball is down.
And there's a looper into left field. It's going to drop in front of Sapelt for a base hit. So McCutchen with his second hit of the game. And the Pirates in a 3-3 game have the lead man on with 1 out here in the 7th.
Well, he broke his bat on that. Chapman got in on him, which is pretty easy to do when you're throwing 100. But you see the strength of McCutchen being able to fight that ball off and get it over into left field. And I can tell you this right now, in a 3-3 ball game, and Aroldis Chapman on the mound, McCutchen's going to be running. So now it's up to Ludwig to give him a pitch or two to get that done.
Ludwig singled his last 2 times up, knocking in a run. Toss over to first base. Jose Veras begins to throw for the Pirates in their bullpen. There's the lead by McCutchen, who has 20 stolen bases on the year. And the infield's bunched toward the middle. Infielders are Janisch and Phillips. Another soft toss over to the bag at first.
Even if Chapman abbreviates his delivery, his arm arc and everything is so long, I don't think they can keep McCutchen from stealing.
Good pitch. Jammed Ludwig, and it's fouled out of play. 0-1 the count. Totals are identical. 3 runs, 9 hits, no errors. Pirates batting in the bottom of the 7th inning. Reds winning last night 11-8. Pirates have had the Reds number, winning 7 out of 10 against them this year. And trail them by 2 games. In the division right now, close at first base, and just getting back is Andrew McCutchen.
That was a good move by Aroldis Chapman at first base, a real good move.
Leaning the other way was McCutchen, but gets back.
That was extremely close.
Brewers, of course, with the lead against the Mets today, coming in with a 7.5 game lead over the Cardinals.
The Mets are fighting back in that game. It's at 7-6 now in the 8th.
Right now, the Pirates and the Reds battling for 3rd place in the division.
Okay, now this is where young kids hear those boos and they think they have to stop throwing over the first base. So if I'm McCutchen, I'm taking off.
He doesn't, and the fastball is up high, and it's 1-1 to Ludwig. Two and one.
And you can see out of his stretch with that abbreviated delivery, his fastball's at 97 and not 101.
Neil Walker in the on-deck circle. He's had a couple of hits today. 2-1 to Ryan Ludwig, who's had 2 hits his last 2 times up, and a good play made by Hannigan on that pitch low and inside, making sure it doesn't get by. And it's now 3-1 to Ryan Ludwig.
And that's what Andrew McCutchen has the ability to do, to take the concentration from the pitcher off the hitter and put it on him as the base runner.
Again, keeping McCutchen close.
This is a running count. It would not surprise me if I'm Chapman. I go over there again.
And there goes McCutchen, and the pitch is fouled back. He had a decent jump there.
He'd have had that bag standing up.
So he'll come back and we'll do it again. Count still 3-2.
And you saw the jump McCutchen had right there. It wasn't a great jump.
Decent.
But when you got that kind of speed, you don't have to have a great jump. You just have to get off with the pitch.
Because you're going to need a solid throw to nail it.
Yeah, it's got to be perfect. The catcher's got to catch it perfect. He's got to get it out of his glove and release it perfect. And it's got to be a good throw.
Again, the 3-2 pitch, barring a throw to first, upcoming to the hitter. There goes McCutchen. And another foul ball rolled past the third base coach, Nick Leyba. Here's a guy who enjoys the game. Look on the face of Andrew McCutchen as he goes back to first.
If I had that ability, I'd be smiling all the time, too.
I think you had a little bit of a reputation for enjoying yourself out there.
I always had fun.
Right? To say the least. Runner does not go, and the pitch fouled off.
Ludwig's putting up a battle right now against Chapman. And as a hitter, that's all you want to do. You want to battle, foul off those pitchers' pitches until he makes a mistake. The more pitches you make him throw, the better chance you have of him making a mistake.
One out for the Pirates here in the bottom of the 7th. The Reds fighting back and diving back in plenty of time is McCutchen. Pirates had a 3-1 lead in the Reds with runs in the 6th and 7th innings, tying it up. Now the Pirates with 1 out and the go-ahead run at first base. And Aroldis Chapman going over many times to keep McCutchen close. He takes off again. The pitch is outside. Ball 4. And on at first is Ludwig. McCutchen goes to second. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Well, the guys you'd say you pay to see Andrew McCutchen.
Absolutely.
5-tool star of the future.
Average. Hits for average. Hits for power. Can field better than any center fielder. Can run. And can throw. He is a 5-tool player. I was a tool.
Enough said. And he can run.
And I know Sean Casey is in the building today doing the game for the Reds, and that's one of Casey's favorite sayings.
Right. Here's Neil Walker, has 2 hits today.
That's
Gets jammed, and that's going to drop in front of Bruce in right field. Here comes, the throw is cut off, and the run scores. McCutchen comes around, and the Pirates take a 4-3 lead. So McCutchen, who is on first, and Ryan Ludwig working. Aroldis Chapman for the walk, and Neil Walker delivers with his 3rd hit of the game and his 2nd RBI.
And that right there is just a hitter fighting a pitch off. And the great thing about it is you don't have to swing hard against the guy that throws as hard as Chapman. You got to get the bat through the zone. There's been 2 hits in this inning. McCutcheon's shattered bat, and then that jam shot right there.
And Neil Walker, who has reached base in each of his last 14 games, has 3 hits and 4 trips, 2 runs batted in, and a 4-3 Pirate lead. So they answer the Reds' run-tying inning in the top of the 7th with the go-ahead run on the bottom of the 7th, and they're not done yet. 1 out, runners at first and third. Brandon Wood taking ball 1. Wood 0 for 3, struck out his last 2 times up, but facing Chapman for the first time. So Ludwig is on at third, and Neil Walker at first, as McCutcheon coming around and scoring.
And this is one of the big reasons you'll hear me a lot of time talk about I hate an abbreviated delivery from power pitchers, because he has not even come close to 100 miles an hour since he's been in his stretch and started abbreviating his delivery. Everything's been 96 or 97, where when he was doing his full leg kick and turning it loose, you're talking about 100, 101. Well, you start taking 4 and 5 miles an hour off that fastball, it becomes hittable.
And of course, he was McCutcheon getting that base hit to force him into the stretch, and then the walk to Ludwig. So it's a different pitcher out there with men on base, obviously. 1-1 the count to Brandon Wood. Pirates looking to add to their lead, up 4-3 here in the bottom of the 7th. And there's a fastball for the strike, 1-2.
That was actually his slider at 89 miles an hour. I mean, this kid's ability is just off the charts. And I just don't believe in sacrificing stuff to hold runners. If you go with your best stuff, with his stuff, at every hitter, with his best stuff, he's going to win 90% of those battles.
Short break on that.
Slider.
So Brandon Wood looking to hit safely. Pirates have spread it out today, and there is a base hit to right field. Scoring is Ludwig. Walker on his way to third, and into second with a double is Brandon Wood, and the Pirates now lead it 5-3. Still 1 out, and runners now at second and third. For Wood, his 30th run batted in of the year.
This is a case of the Pirates shortening up. That's all they're doing. They're shortening their swings and trying to put the ball in play. These are emergency hacks. And what people don't understand is an emergency hack, that ball right there, that's just as good as a home run. But they're shortening up, just trying to put the ball in play.
Really good at bats. Neil Walker got jammed when he got his hit to give the Pirates the lead, and Brandon Wood also going to the opposite field. And out to the mound is Brian Price, the pitching coach. Dusty Baker's team trailing 5-3. Well, this is your football season. Create your fantasy football team today at foxsports.com. Fox Fantasy Football is brand new and better than ever. Play today at foxsports.com/fantasy. Sam LeCure, who was warmed up earlier in the game, now throwing for the Reds. And they're going to give him time to get ready. Aroldis Chapman, and a great point by you, Mitch, as Garrett Jones struck out, and the pitch is up to 101 miles an hour, and that kind of changed a little bit once there were men on base. Infield is in for the Reds for a play at the plate. Ronnie Cedeno, the batter, fouls it off for strike 1.
If I'm Clint Hurdle right now, I'm squeezing. I'm getting that added run. Because Chapman is going to be trying to throw strikes here. I'm starting that runner at third, and I'm going to try and get that 3-run lead here.
Cedeno already with an RBI single back in the 4th inning, and swinging away out of play, and no balls and 2 strikes to Cedeno with McHenry, the Bucks catcher, on deck. There's McHenry.
Okay, now you got 0-2, second and third. There's no reason to abbreviate your delivery. This should be 100 miles an hour right here.
just missed, and you could see Hannigan framing his
No,
glove.
he called him out.
He did call him out,
on
right?
a
Strike
breaking
three.
ball.
So Cedeno goes down, and that is the second strikeout for Chapman this inning. 2 down, and McHenry coming up. McHenry and Garrett Jones are the only hitters, slots in the Pirate lineup not to hit safely today. Runners remain at second and third, but now the infielders move back.
And again, there is no reason for an abbreviated delivery right here. This is as hard as you can go for this hitter. Get the hitter. It all starts with the hitter. 96 on his fastball.
Steve Pierce is in the on-deck circle for the Pirates. And if McHenry keeps it alive, he will bat in the pitcher spot. 0-1 pitch, and it's 1-1 now to McHenry, who has flied out, was walked intentionally, and fouled out Tovado at first base last inning. Pirates coming back with 2 runs. We've had a lot of instances where teams have answered the other run scoring output by the clubs, and now it's 2-1.
I mean, we've seen a 5-mile-an-hour drop-off in his fastball just in this inning alone.
5-3, the Pirates lead. They have their insurance run here, but they have 2 runners in scoring position with 2 out. 2-1 to McHenry. Checks his swing.
That pitch is right down the middle. I don't know where that was called.
And I think Chapman agrees with you, Mitch.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, the catcher set up on the inner third. That pitch is all down the middle of the plate.
3-1, and Steve Pierce will pinch hit if McHenry gets aboard. Big cut and a miss. Full count now. There's Pierce, came off the disabled list late July.
Now, if Chapman can get his breaking ball somewhere in the vicinity right now, there's no way McHenry can stay back long enough to hit.
Inside ball 4, and that'll load him up. And we'll see Steve Pierce come up and bat for Tony Watson.
But we ain't going to see Chapman face him.
Dusty Baker. Sam LeCure has been warming up, and that'll be all for Aroldis Chapman to look so impressive in getting Garrett Jones as a strikeout victim, and then the next 4 men reach base for the Pirates. We'll be right back. Pirates leading 5-3. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. To get the best offer of the year, call 1-800-DIRECTV. So Sam LeCure is on the pitch. Pierce was waiting on deck, but Xavier Paul is going to pinch hit in the pitcher spot for Tony Watson. So here is Paul, who homered Monday against the Cardinals, leading off the game.
First pitch of the game off Jake Westbrook.
Bases are loaded with 2 down here in the 7th inning. Neil Walker is at third, Brandon Wood at second, and Michael McHenry on at first base. Pirates lead 5-3. They have 11 hits in the game and only had 1 until the 4th, but they have exploded. 3 hits in the 4th, 5th, and here in the 7th inning. So a big moment here in this game, and the first pitch is in for a strike. LeCure, 27-year-old pitcher from the University of Texas, facing Paul.
Hook 'em horns.
Paul, by the way, claimed off waivers from the Dodgers earlier in the year. And LeCure pitched last night, gave up an earned run in 2/3 of an inning. In relief of our oldest Chapman. And it's now 0-2 to the pinch hitter.
Now this is where LeCure has got to trust his catcher and not be afraid to bounce something, and trust that his catcher will keep it in front. Every hitter wants to swing the bat with the bases loaded. They ain't up there looking to walk.
Walker, Wood, and McHenry with their leads. 2 runs have already crossed the plate. And time called.
I couldn't tell if that was LeCure that called time or Paul that called time.
It was almost simultaneous.
If it's LeCure, you can't be unsure of what you want to do right here.
It's like a golfer going back to the bag to change his club.
Yeah.
LeCure, 0-2, 1 ball, 2 strikes now.
Not a bad pitch. Every pitch, and when you're on the mound, you're throwing this pitch thinking about what you want to do with your next one. Every pitch has got to have a purpose.
There's the Gateway Clipper, very popular.
It is majestic, according to what it says on the side.
Yes, it is.
That's a big old boat.
And a great view.
You would know more than me. What are they? Are they just like tours?
Yes, people that want to just go up the river and down the river and enjoy themselves, refreshments and sort. And that's strike 3. So Paul goes down. Votto, Bruce, and Cairo will be coming up for the Reds in the 8th inning as the Pirates now lead 5-3. The seventh, breaking the tie and taking a 5-3 lead as we go to the eighth inning, and there are changes in the field for Pittsburgh. Jose Veras becomes the fourth pitcher of the afternoon, making his 65th appearance of the year. And in the outfield, there you see Xavier Paul in right field, and Jose Tabata goes from right to left field, and Ryan Ludwig is out of the game. The pitcher spot will be hitting fourth in the lineup for the Pirates. Meanwhile, Joey Votto leading off for the Reds against Veras. He's been on base 3 times with 2 RBI singles and a walk. Was picked off first in the 4th inning, but ever the dangerous hitter takes up and in ball 1.
And this is where Veras has got to go after him. You got a 2-run lead. You don't want to put him on base with Bruce coming up. So go after him. You don't want to walk him.
And it's 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. The Reds just don't go away in this game, Mitch. They did take the 1-0 lead, but the Pirates tied it in the 4th. At 2 in the 5th inning, we're up 3-1, and then the Reds single runs in the 6th and 7th, only to see the Pirates answer them in the 7th with 2 runs. But the Reds hang in there. There's a fastball fouled off, 2-1.
Well, and you see that's what a power hitter like Joey Votto. He got a pitch 2-0 that he could come out of his shoes. That's the kind of swing you want to see. But he's not a guy known for striking out.
So the heart of the order for the Reds here in the 8th inning. A critical inning for the Pirate bullpen. Took something off that pitch, 83 miles an hour, and it's now 3-1. And if Otto gets aboard, Jay Bruce would be the tying run coming to the plate. Has 26 home runs. Came into today's play 7th in the National League.
Well, Votto's walked 90 times this year and struck out 94.
Full count now to Joey Votto. There's Bruce waiting to hit. He has not hit safely today. 5 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Pirates. 3 runs, 9 hits, no miscues for the Reds.
Now just look to throw something on the outer half of the plate right
The
here.
3-2. Breaking ball, missing ball 4, and Votto draws a leadoff walk, and Jay Bruce will come up as the tying run of the plate. Well, in 2 weeks, college football comes to FX with Gus Johnson and Charles Davis calling the action from Norman, Oklahoma, where the number 1 ranked Sooners host upset-minded in-state rival Tulsa. The FX Saturday College Football Game of the Week presented by Russell Athletic all season long on FX. Check your local listings for the channel and start time in your area. And be sure to go to foxsports.com to check out Charles Davis preseason power rankings.
You look at those power rankings right there, Dick. 10 years ago, you think you'd have seen Boise State?
Nope, a lot has changed. Or the blue grass that they have in their football games, right?
And Boise State preseason picked at number 4 in the country.
And we're all excited about our new college broadcasting team, Gus Johnson, who has made his mark with his exciting calls in the NCAA tournament, now coming over to Fox Sports. And Charles Davis, who is an outstanding specialist in college football, was my partner the last 2 years on the NFL. They'll be a great team. 1-0 to Jay Bruce. And a shot up the middle and a base hit. And Votto will stop at second. So Jay Bruce with his first hit of the game. And the Reds have the tying runs aboard with nobody out and Miguel Cairo coming up.
And that's the situation I was talking about with Votto. You got to take your chance with Votto and not walk him. I mean, the best hitters that ever lived in this game fail 7 out of 10 times. So he can't hurt you. A 1-point homer, they're still 1 run behind. But you walk a guy to lead off an inning, that starts to mentally think these Reds can get back into this game.
And, of course, the situation with the Pirate bullpen when Resop came in for Morton and couldn't get the job there, and Tony Watson bailed him out by getting 3 straight hitters with 2 runners on. And now Jose Veras struggling here with 2 on, nobody out. Cairo is 0 for 3 today and looking for the bunt.
Well, you don't play for the tie on the road, but Dusty may do it, liking his chances with his offense and his pen.
Wood and Jones have to respect the sacrifice possibility. Swinging away and lifting it in the air. And here is Xavier Paul making the catch for out number 1. Big out for Veras, and the runners go back to second and first. Votto to second and Bruce to first. Drew Stubbs coming to the plate.
Well, in talking to Clint Hurdle a couple of weeks ago, he talked about Hanrahan and using him in the 8th inning and not being afraid to use him for a 4-out save. But this is his first year as being a closer, and he doesn't want to heap too much of that on him in his first year because he's done such a tremendous job as just a 9th inning guy this year. But after last night, I promise you Hanrahan wants to get back in this game today.
Get right back on the saddle again, no question. Drew Stubbs has a pair of hits, scored a run and a stolen base. Danger at the plate, and there's a breaking pitch. Ball 1. Pirates up 5-3, but the Reds have the tying runs aboard here in the 8th inning. On at second base is Votto. Bruce, who singled, on at first.
And Stubbs is not a guy that's going to hit into very many double plays.
Took something off that 78-mile-an-hour pitch, but it's over for the strike, 1-1. The fans looking from atop. Great locations in this ballpark, wherever you go, and 37,826, 16th sellout of the year for the Pirates. Their record is 19. 2-1 now to Stubbs.
Their record's 19 sellouts, and that happened the year this stadium opened. So it's nice to see these fans coming back and getting the opportunity to cheer for some good baseball.
A lot of young players on the team and a lot of young players signed that will be in the minor league system for the Pirates. 2-1 pitch, good fastball, and the count now even 2-2 to Drew Stubbs.
That right there was overmatched. Drew Stubbs was completely overmatched by that fastball from Veras. Now, once I see that swing as a pitcher, I'm going back to that pitch a notch higher in the zone.
Full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
It makes me wonder, Dick, whether or not these guys have pitch recognition, these young pitchers, whether they recognize if a guy is behind their fastball.
Payoff pitch with 2 runners on, and it's strike 3. Great breaking ball by Jose Veras on the outside corner, and Stubbs goes down for the second out.
The old saying is if you're going to throw a breaking ball 2-2, you better be willing to throw it 3-2. And right there, Stubbs did not think he was coming back with that breaking ball.
So Dave Sappelt coming up for the first time. Came in as a pinch runner after Ramon Hernandez doubled last inning. And his breaking pitch is in there for strike 1.
And this is a big out right here. If Veras can get this guy out, then they're going to have 8-9-1 lead off in the 9th inning. And they won't get to the heart of that order. Hanrahan will have a whole lot less trouble with the bottom half of the order than he will the top.
One and one to Dave Sappelt, who made his big league debut on August 7th, coming up from Louisville. after hitting .313 in AAA. And Veras falling behind 2-1. Paul Janisch is in the on-deck circle for the Reds. Veras, the fourth pitcher. Charlie Morton worked 6 innings. Morton coming in with a 3-0 record against the Reds. Left after 6. Resop, Watson, and now Veras. And a ball strike, 2-2. And the crowd begins its rhythmic applause, trying to urge on Veras to retire Sapelt and end this 8th inning. Some rhythm to their applause,
and you can see it's not to that point where, I mean, the fans here, I'm glad to see they're back at the ballpark, but you don't have that electricity quite yet. I mean, at this point in the game, and if they were 2 or 3 games out of first place, these people would be on their feet right now.
They're here, but it's still a little bit wait and see.
Right.
Runners have their leads at first and second. 2-2 pitch, fastball, and Sapelt goes down swinging. So Veras strikes out Stubbs and Sapelt. It remains 5-3 Pirates. Sponsored by AT&T, Rethink Possible, and by MasterCard. Eat, drink, and be generous this summer. Well, the Pirates have gotten some clutch pitching from Tony Watson and Jose Veras, pitching out of trouble here, and the Buccos batting in the bottom of the 8th inning, leading 5-3.
Well, I'm sure Charlie Morton would have loved to have gotten this win, but I'm real sure Clint Hurdle is pleased with the work of Watson and Veras in the last couple of innings.
No question. Jose Tabata, 1 for 2 with a single, run scored and 2 walks, so he's been aboard 3 times today, facing Sam LeCure. And the pitch inside, and it's 1-1 to Tabata. Contract extension for this young player, Made his debut with the Pirates last season.
Yeah, they're talking about extending him and Neil Walker.
And you think you would have to exhibit to the fans that you're going to
make
have
that
these
commitment.
two young players in commitment. We know they're making the commitment to the prospects that they are signing, the draftees.
Right, and Neil Walker, you got to think he wants to stay here. I mean, this is his hometown. He was born and raised here. I'm sure they're going to get some kind of hometown discount because of it. They'd be foolish not to take advantage of it.
And I think many young players looking to build something here now that the Pirates have finally gotten out of the doldrums. Say, why don't we be part of this thing? Because we've got a great ballpark here, great town. Fans are coming out, obviously.
The one that's going to be real interesting is Andrew McCutchen.
And a check swing. And the count 3-2, yes. By the way, Joel Hanrahan in the bullpen wants to badly get in. There is McCutchen, and there's Hanrahan in the bullpen. Last night, uncharacteristic for him. Gave up 3 runs in the 9th inning. The all-star closer for the Pirates. Chomping at the bit for another chance. Tabata strikes out, and there's 1 gone here in the bottom of the 8th.
And that's an outstanding pitch by LeCure. Got it under his hands. There's nothing that Tabata could have done with this pitch. It's got tremendous sink on it. Started over the middle of the plate and finished 6 inches off the plate.
Here's Garrett Jones facing Sam LeCure. Jones has struck out twice, grounded out, and was hit by a pitch. And in that inning when he was nicked, he came around and scored. Pirates leading 5-3. And a breaking ball over for strike 1 to Jones.
And that, for me, that's the best time to throw a looping, hanging curveball. That's just a get-me-over first pitch strike curveball. What it does is it shows the hitter you have it and never go back to it. It just puts it in the hitter's mind that you do have that pitch.
Now it's 0-2 to Jones. Dontrell Willis was the starter today for the Reds, looking for his first win of the year after having to lead last Sunday's game in the 3rd inning with a sore forearm. Threw 104 pitches, worked 6 innings, giving up 3 runs on 8 hits.
And was more than respectable. He showed me something today.
Pop fly, foul territory. And unable to get to it is Cairo. Out of play, and it's 0-2. And then Aroldis Chapman came in. A very interesting inning in the 7th when the Pirates broke the 3-3 tie and took the lead. Impressive getting the strikeout to Jones, and then all of a sudden losing a lot off his fastball.
Absolutely. And anytime you take a power pitcher and you start to abbreviate your delivery to worry about controlling the running game for me, I always treated it, unless they can steal second, third, and home, I don't care.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I'm left-handed. I'm going to use my pickoff move. And I talked about this the other night on the network, and I didn't know how many pickoffs I had in my career, but I was a reliever and a closer, and I had 38 over the course of my career. That's 12 innings worth, more than 12 innings worth of outs without facing a guy with a bat in his hand. If you're left-handed and you don't work on a move to first, you're foolish. Ask Andy Pettit, who had over 90 pickoffs in his career.
Breaking pitch, and down goes Jones. So LeCure striking out Tabata and Jones, 2 out. Now it's time for the Just for Men Keep Your Edge spotlight, and it falls on Neil Walker, sparkling in the field. Walker delivering an RBI single in the 5th inning and in the 7th inning, and paving the way for the Pirates as McCutchen scored, and then Brandon Wood followed with an RBI double, and the insurance run for the Pirates, who lead 5-3. And speaking of Andrew McCutchen, 2 for 4 stepping in here. He's also scored 2 of the 5 Pirate runs. Just as Neil Walker keeps the Pirates, gives him that big edge, you too can keep the edge with Just for Men mustache and beard, something like that.
And I can vouch for him, folks. It does a whale of a job.
2 down to McCutchen. Looking ahead to the 9th inning, the Reds will have the 8, 9, and leadoff hitters. And Hannigan, I believe, is in the 9th slot, the catcher. Big cut that time by McCutchen, and it's 0-2. So there won't be the pitcher spot coming up in the 8-9-1 spot. And Joel Hanrahan looking to make amends coming in from the bullpen.
And that's all you want. As a closer, when you stink it up one night, all you want is the opportunity to get back out there the next night. And that wasn't a save opportunity you blew last night. It was a tie game. And you see it happen all the time to closers, whether it's an adrenaline thing. I don't think it's so much an adrenaline thing as I think it's a hitter thing. The situation of the game is different. A tie game, there isn't as much pressure on the hitter. When you take the mound as a closer in the 9th inning, the pressure is not on you as a closer. The pressure is on the hitter. They're the ones behind.
We've seen that with Mariano Rivera recently.
Yeah.
Reaching out and rolling it to Cairo. And the 1-2-3 inning for Sam LeCure, and the Reds coming up in the top of the 9th, trailing the Pirates 5-3. Of the Pirates, Bill Mazeroski with his World Series winning home run in 1960. The great Roberto Clemente, 12-time All-Star, 12-time Gold Glover, and a National League MVP, 4-time batting champ, and Willie Stargell, a 7-time All-Star, and the MVP in '79, won 2 World Championships, was the MVP in the World Series in 1979. We at Fox Sports pleased to be back in Pittsburgh for the resurgence of the Pirates, and the question is, can they hold on here in the 9th inning? As Joel Hanrahan, as you see Clemente, Mazeroski, and Stargell in the rafters here, and Paul Janisch leading off 0 for 3 against Hanrahan. Talked about how itching to get back today after tag for the loss last night. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike to Giannis.
And this guy, Joel Hanrahan, has kind of been a journeyman reliever in Washington and never really had a home or a slot they could use him in. And Clint Hurdle, he pulled him aside in spring training and he told him flat out, "You are my closer." And when you have a manager do that and show that confidence in you, it just flourishes. And that's exactly what's happened with Hanrahan.
30 saves, all by the end of July. And ahead 1-2 to Giannis. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's had only 1 save situation in 8 appearances. And there you see Hanrahan. His ERA 1.48 was 1.16 before last night's game. Getting a piece of that fastball is Giannis. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He was used a lot in the 6th, 7th, 8th innings when he was in Washington. And you move a guy with this stuff into the 9th inning where the pressure's on the hitter.
And there's a drive hit to center field. McCutchen going over and makes the catch. Got a good jump on that, going to his right. In left center field, and Giannis is retired, hit that ball solidly, and there's 1 out in the 9th inning. Well, the Pirates can climb back to 500 at the end of the year. They can avoid extending their record losing skid, 18 losing years in a row. And that's what other teams have done. 15 for Vancouver in hockey. Sacramento Kings went 15 years with losing records, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 14 losing seasons. But the Pirates had 18 losing campaigns in a row. They lost 105 games last year. And with a win today, would go to 59 and 65, so it's doable. Here is Ryan Hannigan, and he takes strike 1.
And you look at that list of losing teams, and the great John McKay, who had one of the greatest quotes in the history of sports after the Bucks lost the game, and he was asked about his team's execution after the game, and he said, "I'm all for it." One of the greatest quotes ever.
Man to my left, Rick Odioso, who's been our statistician, was the director of public relations for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at that time. So he knows full well about that quote, and there were a few others as well. Meanwhile, a call strike 2 to Ryan Hannigan. 1-2 to Hannigan with 1 out. Here in the 9th inning, the Pirates leading 5-3, and Brandon Phillips on deck. And the 29-year-old from Norwalk, Iowa, trying to dispose of Hannigan, and misses 2-2 now to the Reds catcher.
And Hanrahan has done something that has, what I consider, been a lost art over the last 10 years. He has learned to walk the ladder on hitters. Meaning you start with a fastball belt high, go a little bit higher, and then go a little bit higher. And he's done a really good job of that, and he's got a wipeout slider. They can't protect against both of them. Now, he can do anything here. He can fastball him up. He can slider him down.
Gave him the fastball in on the fist.
Now, if he takes that a notch higher and it's in the middle of the plate, the hitter, when you're looking at 98 miles an hour, they can recognize away, they can recognize in, but if that ball's in the middle, they have to get it started, and if it's up, they got it to go after it.
And he took something off that pitch, 85 miles an hour, and Hannigan hanging in there with the count 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cincinnati Reds winning last night 11-8. They have lost 6 consecutive road series.
And no one saw that coming out of spring training. There was a lot of people picked them to win that Central Division again. I not being one of them, because I liked what the Brewers did in the offseason.
Grounded to third, Brandon Wood, plenty of time, and there are 2 down now as Hannigan is retired in another game for a DirecTV game break affecting this division race. Prince Fielder with an RBI single, Casey McGee coming in to score, and the Brewers in a seesaw game win it 11-9. So the Milwaukee Brewers, that saw a big early lead dissipated by the Mets, win. And right now, 8.5 games over the Cardinals, who lost to the Cubs today. But all the attention right now is on the Reds and the Pirates. The crowd on its feet. Brandon Phillips, who's been on base 4 times today with 3 singles and an intentional walk. And Joel Hanrahan trying to pick up his 31st save of the year. 0-1 to Phillips. Connor, want to remind you to get every MLB game and the most in HD, call 1-800-DIRECT-TD. And a ground ball. Neil Walker has it. And the game is over as Phillips retired for the first time today. And that is it. Joel Hanrahan picks up his 31st save, coming right back after the disastrous Friday night game as the Pirates win 5-3. And Tony Watson, who was just called up, picks up his first Major League victory. And the fireworks ensue here in Pittsburgh as the Pirates win, and we'll wrap things up from Pittsburgh right after these messages from your local Fox station.